Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Callum L, and this is Talk with the Titans. Oh, man. Jeez. You know what? Yeah, we've got a powerful show in store for you. We've got my Shia brothers going for round two, knockout blows, round two. And we're going to be discussing, the calamity of Thursday, okay? And a lot of my Muslim brothers may just be aware of what transpired on that Thursday. We're going to be discussing that today. But first, let me actually introduce my Shia brothers that's with us right now on the panel. So let me get my brother Raza to come through. What's good, brother?
What's good, Kalam? Assalamu alaikum to all the viewers and everyone here. Good to be back. We're on Attack of the Titans today, not Clash of the Titans, Attack of the Titans.
Jeez. Oh, man. It's about to go down, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
And the Haq Ya Ali to everyone as well.
Ooh, wait. Haq Ya Ali. Let me get my brother Saeed Ali into the mix as well. Welcome, my brother.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you doing? You okay?
Excellent. Can't complain. We got to give praise and we got to give thanks. Now, today's show, is actually going to be something special. Why did I say this? Because we've got some brothers, from the community that actually wanted to join the panel itself. Last time round, you lot was complaining that why is there no Sunni brothers on the panel? Guess what? This time around, you lot been sending in your emails. You want to be part of the show. Unfortunately, we're not going to get new guests on the show right now. It's only the people that I've sent the links out to. So I apologize to everybody who's sending me their emails right now. I can't do it. Yeah, you was too slow. You was a little bit too slow. So let me actually welcome my brothers that are calling in. Please just state your name, what location you're calling in from, and also state your disposition as well. So starting off with my brother Ziryab. Peace to you, King.
Peace.
Just introduce yourself to the family, King.
Yeah, my name's Zuriab. What you'd call an independent researcher and thinker when it comes to history, all types of history, and specifically Islamic history and the Hadith corpus.
Perfect. Love that. And we've also got my brother Omar calling in as well. Peace to you, King.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Just let us know where you're calling in from and your disposition. Sunni, Shia.
Yeah, from Tottenham, Sunni, and I'm just listening, waiting to learn from the brothers and questioning them, basically.
Perfect. I love that. And we've also got my brother Hani calling in as well. Peace to you, King.
Assalamu alaikum.
Few people.
What happened?
That was a mad thing. A few people dropped out. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes, these things happen,
Allah, they plan it, Allah plans. One of those ones, yeah?
You know the ways there. Okay, my brother Hani, you're back into the mix. Please, you just dropped out for a little while. Just introduce yourself to the family.
Yeah, the name is Hani. I'm calling from Chicago, and I'm a independent researcher. Obviously on the Sunni side here. I'm wondering if the brother Omar Ali who joined is Omar Ali Grant.
Okay, unfortunately, he's out of the mix right now. Hopefully, he can come back in. I don't know what happened with YouTube. And we've also got Abdallah, I believe.
Hey, assalamu alaikum. What's up, guys? It's good to be on here. It's nice to finally get to share some thoughts with the Shia brothers here. I'm an independent researcher as well. I've been studying the Shia for quite a while, and today I'm going to be representing the big bad Wahhabis.
Jeez. Oh, man. Listen, we need to even have a show about Wahhabism itself. So hopefully, maybe next time around, we can get you onto the show to actually discuss that with us. But let's get it started, Let's actually get it started. So family, are you actually ready for tonight's show? We've got just under 100 people tuned in right now. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is do this, please. Yeah, from the bat, just hit the like button. Hit the like button from now. And also share this link. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitters, your Tumblrs, you know, your Google Plus, wherever else your Reddit even, yeah, wherever you can share it, yeah, please share it. At the beginning of you know, our preview show, we said, you know, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell an akhi to tell a akhi, tell a akhti to tell a akhti, tell the ummah to tell the ummah. Please, let's get this show popping, okay? I want the family to actually be represented. I want the family to get all the information out, and we want it to be critical, okay? Titans TV is all about provoking thoughts, provoking you to think, take you out of your comfort zone and learn something new to develop yourself. So let's get it in, my brothers. I'm gonna lay off my Shia brothers. You lot start off and let's get it popping.
All right. So, Sayyid Ali, am I starting?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Okay. So, my brothers, what we're here to just discuss today, inshallah, is, everyone can hear me, yeah? Everyone can hear me?
We can all hear you, King. We can all hear you.
All right, cool. What we're here to discuss today is the incident, or as they call it, the Calamity of Thursday, and the pen and the paper incident, specifically. So last time we were here, we discussed about a couple of things. You know, the general topic was obviously Khilafah and successorship to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We went in a little bit. We didn't go as deep as we could have, but it was a big topic, and you know, I felt like we done justice to it. Alhamdulillah, a lot of the brothers that didn't know learned. A lot of the guys that did know, they knew. So it's one of those ones where I hope the people benefited. Again, this shows is important. It is for as Muslims, and it's important for non-Muslims as well, so they can understand about a little bit about the divide and how things work. Because especially from the Shia side of things, a lot of things get misrepresented sometimes, because obviously we're the minority. So big up Times TV for doing those always. Yeah, subscribe to him and like this video. Make sure. Yeah. All right. Cool. So as we're here today, we're going to continue on from there. So up until last week, we basically were proving Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had left Imam Ali and his family as his khulafa and the imams after him. So we got to a point and we quoted the narrations regarding it. So today what we want to do is we want to talk about near the end of the Prophet's life. Towards the end of his life. What were the stages? How did things how did it go from what we heard last week, someone else becoming the Khalif, the Prophet's family being sidelined, in a sense, literally just pushed to the back? How did it get to that level? There's a lot to say on the subject, and you know, there's no doubt that we can never do these kind of subjects justice. However, with the permission of Allah, we were going to try today to try and get that information out there. So let's go straight down to the Quran first, in terms of the importance of writing a will, whether it's Kalam or Sayyid Ali, whoever wants to get up on their screen, because I will struggle with my screen as I'm using a Mac for the first time. So Surah Baqarah, verse 180. Let's get it onto that. Surah Baqarah, verse 180. You can get it on your screens. I've got it here as well. Oh yes. Cool, here we go. So it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, prescribed for you when death approaches any one of you, if he leaves wealth, is that he should make a bequest for the parents and near relatives according to what is acceptable, a duty upon the righteous. Now, again, the verse next to it just is important, just whether in terms of the context, if you want me to read the verse next to it, it's not an issue. And then whoever alters the bequest after he has heard it, the sin is only upon those who have altered it. Indeed, Allah is hearing and knowing. Now, with this verse of the Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the verse is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically alluding to the fact of how important it is to write a will before you die. Now, the verse, from a general aspect, you know, you can say whenever someone passes away, in our own time period, people, you know, elderly people pass away, young people pass away. In our religion, in Islam, it's encouraged to write a will to avoid disputes afterwards. How many families do we know that literally someone passes away and the whole family starts disputing? This house, this flat, this property, this house, this car. There's disputes. Whether it's to do with financial, whether it's to do with who sits on what position, even if in today's politics, you see someone die, he leaves behind a successor. And there's always disputes if he doesn't. What we're trying to say today is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically ruled out that ruling. Islamic scholars, the ulama generally say, from a mustahab, from a recommended point of view, to a near wajib point of view, that is near recommended and wajib to write a will. Because Allah obviously created us, and He knows that if you do not leave a will, it leads to problems. It leads to confusion. So this is a very important ruling that Allah and the Prophet have left for all the Muslims, and even non-Muslims practices. It's not a really, I would say, a Muslim thing per se. I would say it's more of a rational thing where everyone basically follows this. As Muslims, we're commanded to do it, but I would say even non-Muslims leave wills. So our point here today is, did the Prophet leave a will? Did the Prophet try and leave a will? Did he think about it? Because at the end of the day, the Prophet ﷺ is our role model. He's the one that's told us to do this. Without him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll be like lost sheep. We don't know what to do, especially as Muslims, as believers. So we want to go down to what the Prophet happened, and towards his lifetime, towards the last couple of days of his sickness and him passing away, what actually happened and actually stopped him from writing his will. Now, a lot of Muslims will be confused about this. Because, you know, apart from the guys that are into polemical works and like to, you know, debate and, well, a lot of people just debate for the sake of debating, but a lot of people that just debate, a lot of people that don't really know about this won't even know that the Prophet ﷺ didn't get to leave his will. He actually didn't get to write it based on people around him. And the people around him that stopped it were people that he used to call companions in his own lifetime. So it's going to be very shocking for brothers to realize this. And actually, when we go through narrations today, I find out why he was stopped and who he was stopped by. And how did it actually happen? Who basically had, in a sense, the audacity to stop the Prophet from writing his own will. And that is our premise in today's discussion. Without ado then, we can go straight on to the narrations. Sayyid Ali, should we go move to the narrations? Or is there anything you'd like to add, Sayyid?
No, I think, mashallah, you've introduced the topic very well. And additional to that, I think some of what we will discuss today will tie in with our previous discussion as well. You know, how would it be logical that the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him and his family, not provide a will, at least, especially when he, you know, prophesied things that will occur in the future that will take place after him. So, you know, again, this kind of links to another topic of the issue of fadak, which, you know, I don't want to get into the issue of inheritance, but, you know, there was a certain phase in history. We know that even the Prophet's daughter, may peace and blessings be upon her, had a dispute on the issue of land. And again, from a logical point of view, would the Prophet not have informed his own daughter that she was going to get, you know, at least a share or something from the Prophet's inheritance? And we know from history that she had her land usurped from her. But again, I don't want to get into this. This is a separate issue. But yeah, I think for now, I think we need to go into straight into the books, and let's have a look at what the books have got to say. Did you want to go ahead at this point and read the first reference?
Let's go into it. Kalam, straight in, Kalam. Yeah, straight in. I see you smiling. Go on, Sayyid Ali. Start the narrations. Start the references up on the page.
So yeah, I'm going to bring up references now. If you just bear with me a minute. Let me screen share. Can you see my screen? It should come up.
Not yet.
Not yet, G.
Well, let me try
In the meantime, while Sayyid Ali does that, Kalam.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got it sorted now.
No problem. You got it up. Yeah, no problem. We'll get to my point of. I'll talk about a little bit about Shamsi in a little bit. Don't worry. I want to talk about him.
Ooh-wee. Hey.
All love today. All love.
You know, you're calling the name of the lion. Lion. Assad.
I'll leave the viewers with something. The lion, in a sense, has been impressing me recently, and I'll tell you why later.
All right. Can't wait for that. All right. Let me go to my brother, Sayyid Ali, and we'll get the references up. Let's go.
So the first book I'll be showing today is quite a famous book, written by an Indo-Pak scholar, Shibli Numani, and by all means you can search his name. He's a notable scholar, very well respected, and the book is called Al-Furuq. It's a title that was alleged title that was given to Umar, the second Caliph of Islam. Obviously, we don't, as Shias, we don't accept him as the second Khalifa of Islam. We believe that him to be the second usurper of Islam. This title, Al-Faruq, in Arabic means the truthful. Interestingly, this title itself, some people claim it was a title given to him by the Prophet, and peace and blessings be upon him and his family. However, this is not true at all. If you go according to the books say this title was actually given to him by the Jews and Christians. But again, that's a discussion for another time. So this book's called Al-Faruq, The Life of Umar the Great. And the first reference comes up is page number 82. And it says, the event of Qirtas, the most important incident which marks the Prophet's illness is that of Qirtas, the paper. 3 days before his death, the Prophet sent for pen and ink and said he was going to write directions for his people which would save them from falling into error. Isn't it interesting? I know I'm going to stop at this point. In our previous show, we discussed where the Prophet said, look, I'm going to leave you two weighty things. Okay, if you abide by these two things, if you follow them, if you adhere to them, you will never go astray. So it makes you think now, what was going to be written in the will of the Prophet? We can, surely we can link it now to what we were discussing earlier in terms of the nomination of Imam Ali alayhi salam as his successor at Ghadir. So anyway, continuing on, I just thought I'll add that point. So he said he was going to write directions for his people, which would save them from falling into error. On this, Umar addressed the people, telling them that the Prophet was in agony of pain and that the Quran was sufficient guide for them, as if the Prophet ﷺ didn't know that the Quran was a sufficient guide. But anyway, some of the men said that the Prophet was raving. Now it's interesting, the author of this book, Shibli Numani, in brackets writes, heaven preserve us from blasphemy. The word hajr occurs in the tradition, which signifies hysteria. So we had a group of people who accused the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, of hysteria. And the author writes, heaven preserve us from such blasphemy. So even he acknowledges the fact that these words or these statements which have been said by these individuals who prevented the Prophet from writing a will, even he finds them to be blasphemous. But we will inshallah get to who was the person who uttered these words of blasphemy about the Prophet, and obviously we'll discuss that at a later time. So it continues and it says, the above incident is apparently amazing. It places critic in a position to observe that nothing can be more audacious and rebellious than the careless and deficient attitude of Umar in declaring that they did not want the Prophet's instruction and that the Quran was a sufficient guide for them. And so let's carry on to the next page. And that too at a time when the Prophet was lying on his deathbed is impelled by infinite solicitude for his people to say, let me write for you directions which will save you from falling into error. And when it's evident that these directions intended to be written with the view to saving the people from going astray would emanate from him in his capacity of prophet and would thus be inspired and infallible. Some of these traditions even go to the length of affirming that it was Umar himself who pronounced the word of the Prophet to be raving, as in accusing the Prophet of being delirious. So let's look at this context here. The Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, is on his deathbed. He makes a request to fetch ink and pen so he could leave the Ummah with this information which would ultimately never lead them astray. And then what happened was you had a group of people who were present at the time who accused him of practically being delirious. And the author, who also finds these words to be words of blasphemy, tries to water down this interpretation, even though he admits that some of the traditions even go to the length of affirming that it was Umar himself who pronounced the words of the Prophet to be ravings. So now that is enough for my references, just introducing the topic itself. I'll take it off screen, and inshallah maybe you guys have something to add to that.
Blade Runner in the house.
Jeez, I just see the Blade Runner right there. Let me just make sure it's on him right now. Oh, man.
We're always lurking. We're always lurking.
Crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But you know what I'm gonna say though, family. You know what I'm gonna say. I see
Here
your
we go, here we go.
references. I see your references. I hear you. You know, I do hear you. But
love it, I love
where that is a secondary source, yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not even gonna front with you. That's a secondary source. I don't know if I can trust that because I know my brothers, yeah. I know my brothers are in here. My Salafia brothers are in here. If it's not in Sahih Bukhari, if it's not in Sahih Muslim, at least, yeah. Or if it's not in the 6 authentic books, yeah, we ain't hearing it. We ain't hearing it. To me, that could be weak. So unless you can show me from Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim,
I'm glad you actually brought that up. Let me just get it ready for you. Just give me a minute.
yes, family, as we're waiting. So I can see we've got a few of our brothers in the building right about now. We've got content over everything who's tuned in right now. We've also got my brothers from Sunni Dawa channel as well tuned in. And Seer in the building as well. Who else is up in here, man?
Is Shamsi watching our show?
Sorry?
Shamsi watching our show?
I can't confirm it's Shamsi that's watching the show right now. It's the Sunni Dawa team that's watching the show. But let's see. Shamsi, if you're in the building, let us know. Let us know. But it could just possibly be the Sunni Dawa team that's actually checking it in.
So, yeah, coming back to what we were discussing earlier, before we go to the traditions, I just want to show you a very interesting book, and it's written by a contemporary scholar, Dr. Ali Muhammad, and the book's called Umar ibn al-Khattab, His Life and His Times, Volume 1. So let's have a look. I just want to show you something very interesting, what he says. And he says, so he talks about the tradition of the incident of Thursday. And he says, Ibn Abbas narrated that when the pain grew intense, the Prophet said, bring me a sheet so that I may write something for you, after which you will not go astray. Umar said, the Prophet is in severe pain and the book of Allah is sufficient for us. They started arguing, raising their voices. He said, go away from me. It's not right that you should argue in front of me. Ibn Abbas went on saying, it was the most unfortunate that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was prevented from writing his statement. So this is the narration he mentions in his book, which we will look at. But just on a side note, let's have a look what he says, the author, in terms of what the note, what was going to be documented. So he says, the statement that the Prophet wanted to write, it was said that he wanted to state the Khilafat should be specific to a specific person, lest there be disputes and tribulations concerning it. So Allahu Akbar, the scholar, he admits
Fire.
there is a view that the Prophet wanted to choose his successor in his will. So if the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, surely he would be more learned. I mean, you know, for God's sake, the Quran was revealed in his heart. Did he not have that knowledge of the possible repercussions of not choosing that successor? So very interesting. But again, let's go to the traditions now. So the first tradition I like to bring up is from Say Bukhari.
There you go, Kalam. Just for you, Kalam.
Say Bukhari, Volume 4. And it's Say Bukhari, Arabic, English, Volume 4. Dr. Muhammad Mohsen Khan, published Darul Islam, Rida, Saudi Arabia.
I just like to say that. I just want to add one thing. I want to see if any brothers, because normally it's all about Bukhari Muslim. I want to see what narrations people try and weaken in Bukhari Muslim today. I want to see if they try and, I want to see how bad they deny this today.
So when you go,
oh man, let's get it. Let's get it.
So yeah, so let's have a look at Bukhari. As you're probably aware, Bukhari and Muslim are considered to be the two authentic books after the Quran. Within the Al-Sunnah sect, they believe that this to be the two authentic books. Yes, there is disagreement in terms of certain traditions and how reliable they are, but generally speaking, these two books are considered to be most authentic. And if you look at the introduction, it states, it's been unanimously agreed that Imam Bukhari's work is the most authentic of all other works in hadith literature put together. The authenticity of Bukhari works is such that the religious learned scholars of Islam said concerning him, the most authentic book after the Book of Allah is Sahih Bukhari. So yeah, so this is Sahih Bukhari. That's in the introduction. And now we will, oh, this is another one. There's another point here, just something interesting. This is page 19. It's for this reason they unanimously agreed that the most authentic book after the Book of Allah is Sahih Bukhari. So generally speaking, the consensus is whatever is in Bukhari and Muslim is generally to be accepted as being Sahih. So let's go straight into the tradition. And this is the tradition. I'll make it bigger for you guys so you can see it on the screen. So this is a book 58, the book of Jizya, and it says, Hadith number 3168. Narrated Sa'id ibn Jubair that he heard Ibn Abbas saying, Thursday. And you know what happened on Thursday? After that, Ibn Abbas wept till the stones on the ground were soaked with his tears. On that, I asked Ibn Abbas, what about Thursday? He said, when the condition health of Allah's Messenger deteriorated, he said, bring me a bone, a scapula, so that I may write something for you after which you will never go astray. The people differed in their opinions. Although it was improper to differ in front of the Prophet, they said, what's wrong with him? Do you think he's delirious? Ask him. The Prophet replied, leave me, as I'm in a better state what you asking me to do. Then the Prophet ordered them to do three things, saying, turn out all the mushrikeen from the Arabian Peninsula, show respect to all foreign delegates by giving them gifts, as I used to. And the sub-narrator added, the third order was something beneficial, which either Ibn Abbas did not mention, or he mentioned, but I forgot. So conveniently, the narrator, if we were to accept the testimony of this will,
Hold on.
according to his tradition.
Hold on, Sayyid Ali. Hold on. Go back to that narration, Sayyid Ali. You just read a bombshell. I'm not going to let you read that and not comment on it and deal with the point properly. That's going to be injustice to the subject. You cannot read that in front of me and not tell me that someone just said this.
Okay, so let me just bring up for you in the screen.
For all the brothers and sisters that are watching this right now, someone said the Prophet is delirious. Do you think he is delirious? So if in today's time a Muslim said that about a Prophet, Kalam, what would happen to him?
Boy, let me just say that the nice answer is they'll be taken out the fold of Islam.
that's the easy way. That's the easy way. I like it. I like the diplomacy there. I like it. So we know if someone has said something like that about the Prophet today, even if it's a delirious, we can't say that about our elders, let alone the Prophet. I can't say that about my dad, let alone the Prophet. So someone's basically said the Prophet's trying to write a will right now, and someone said, hold on, this man is astaghfirullah delirious. Sayyid Ali, carry on.
So yeah, if you just give me a minute, can you guys hear me fine? Is my voice coming through?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, excellent. So coming back to the tradition again, let's go back into Bukhari again. So this is Sahih Bukhari volume 5. And we've got another narration. And I'll just bring it up for you to make it bigger. So this is Sahih Bukhari volume 5, book 64, the book of Al-Maghazi.
Sayyid Ali, can I read this one?
Sure, go for it.
Read. Go. But I need you to put it up though, innit?
It's up. I'm not sure whether it'll stay up on the screen though.
Yeah, but it's not coming up yet.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll just share it right now.
Also, for the viewers, while he's doing this, one thing that's interesting is, yeah, that's fine. I'll read it. I'll say this point first. One thing that's interesting is, did everyone realize? Did you notice a very important and vital point? You notice how, even though the person said the Prophet was delirious, the Prophet still orally said three things. Now, there was two things that were mentioned in the text. Conveniently, the third one was missed out. I'm starting to see a conspiracy here. Yeah. Conspiracy. People might call me crazy, but I'm seeing a conspiracy here. The third thing, and the thing is, by the end of this show, I'm going to make sure everyone in their mind goes home and be like, you know what? I might not be Shia, I might not agree with everything they say. But something definitely, what was that third thing? What was that third thing that the narrator forgot?
Conveniently forgot.
Conveniently forgot. Conveniently, like, nicely put. Said Ali, roll the
Yeah,
thing.
I
Let's
mean,
go.
again, that's whether or not these three things were actually mentioned at that point. That's another whole dispute as well. Perhaps
Said Ali's going that one step further.
yeah, we can go a step further now, and we can look at whether those things were mentioned during the time of the Prophet. So why would it be said those three things would prevent you from going astray? But anyway, so let's bring up this tradition. It's from Sahih Bukhari. I don't know if it's coming up on your screen. Is it coming up?
Yep.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, yep. Go to the text. Yeah.
Okay, so we got volume 5. Sayyid, I'll let you read the tradition if you like.
Yeah, zoom that for me, please. The one that's marked red. Yeah, so go down a little bit so I can see it.
So yeah, you've got page 6, book 64, tradition number 4431.
All right, so narrated Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. Thursday, how great that Thursday was. The ailment of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam became worse on Thursday, and he said, "Fetch me something so that I may write to you something after which you will never go astray." Now, Sayyid Ali alluded to this. I'm going to allude to it again. Hadith Thaqalain said the same things. I leave for you 2 things after which you will never go astray. It's common here. You can see the wording is common, so you know what's coming next. Anyone that needs to apply their intellect, apply it now. Don't close your intellect now. Don't get biased. Don't close the intellect. The people present there differed in this matter, and it was not right to differ before a prophet. Ibn Abbas makes it clear again. It was not right to differ in front of the prophet. It was not your status to differ in front of him. Some said, "What is wrong with him? Do you think he is delirious?" Again, they're starting to think it's a question. Hopefully by the end of this, inshallah, we will prove it wasn't a question. It was an attribution. It was an accusation. Is he delirious? Ask him to understand his state. So they went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, asked him again. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Leave me, for my present state is better."
Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it.
My present state is better. Okay, basically my present state is better than what you're accusing me of, basically, innit?
Yeah.
So the point is that now, if someone, I'm gonna do a little commentary on this. You can clearly say that, you know, let's say someone asks the Prophet and says, "Oh Prophet, are you delirious?" The Prophet's cleared up the issue there and then. When people argue this issue with me, what I really find embarrassing is that someone is accusing our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of being delirious, and the same person who's accusing him, or the group that's accusing the Prophet of that, the Prophet's clarifying it in the same conversation, that I am in a better state of that what you accuse me of. And hopefully, inshallah, I'll prove to the viewers that in other narrations, the Prophet actually tells them to get out of the room. So clearly they've annoyed the Prophet, they've vexed the Prophet. So to say something like that about the Prophet, it's clear that the Prophet himself refuted this aspect of, oh, him being delirious, because Anbiya alayhi salam like that don't get delirious. So the Prophet himself was the first person to refute this notion.
Do you know what, my brother? Let me just stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, because so far, yeah, this is sounding very gharib, very strange. It's sounding like it's an ahad, it's isolated. Is this an isolated, strange occurrence that happens in the hadith, or is there other hadiths that actually, how can I put it, support or corroborate exactly what you're saying? Because so far, I'm watching this a bit side eye right now. I'm watching this a bit side eye. So let me know, family. Let me know.
Okay.
So Kalam, you're saying you're feeling that it's a bit. You're feeling what the nation is a bit weird.
Definitely very weird, and I feel as though this has to be an isolated account.
It's unfortunately, it's a very what's the right word for it?
Mashur, famous.
No. As in, the narration is quite touching if you actually look at the whole situation here. If you look at the circumstances surrounding it, you know. For God's sake, you know, if your parents were lying on a deathbed, they asked you to go get some water, you run without asking questions. But this is the Prophet of Islam, who we're supposed to even treat us, we're supposed to have love and obedience to him even more so than our parents. People present, look, go get me a pen and paper. I'm going to write you something which you'll never go astray. And a group of people said, listen, you know what? The Quran is sufficient for us. Hey, some of them said, you know what? The guy is delirious. Go ask him, is he actually okay? And then he says, look, I'm in a better state than you are. But anyway, you asked the question about the right in terms of the hadith itself and how reliable it is. I already showed you earlier the Bukhari is generally the consensus. The general consensus is that everything recorded inside is sahih and it's accepted.
Bring
I will inshallah show you.
moderation. Say that.
I will show you another hadith. So this
You know
is
what,
from
yeah,
Sahih
at least-
Muslim.
That's what I'm about to say. At least show me in Sahih Muslim, so I know.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
know.
sure, no problem.
As long as it's in both of these ones, my heart is gonna kind of
Sure.
rest assured that you're
No
on the
problem.
right track.
Say that. Say that.
Muslim.
Muslim. I want to read Muslim. Say that. I want to read Muslim.
Okay, look. So you got Sahih Muslim here. Okay, and I just want to introduce the book very briefly, very quickly for you, so we can see how reliable this hadith work is. This is the second most authentic hadith collection after Bukhari, which is accepted. And on page number 33, it says, the Ummah is unanimous over the authenticity of Sahih Bukhari, as I showed earlier, and Sahih Muslim. Anyhow, all this while scholars have been wrangling which of the twine has precedence over the other. Imam Nawawi, the commentator of Muslim, say the scholars concur that next to the Quran, the most authentic book is Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, which is the one we're going to look at now. The Ummah has accepted them as such. Sahih Bukhari is more authentic, more profitable, etc., etc., and it continues. So when you get a chance, you can have a look at that and you can read up on it.
Just that bottom part. Said 1 minute. There's certain scholars, funny enough, Kalam, there's certain scholars that actually gave preference to Muslim over Bukhari.
Yeah, this is another interesting thing. Some scholars also give preference of Muslim, say Muslim, over Bukhari. And these are hadith works. Bukhari and Muslim are hadith works, which are very fine. You can have a look. You can search them. You can find them. You can go out there. And you can even buy these copies as well from your local bookshop. So let's have a look at the tradition. So I've showed you the tradition from Bukhari, which accuses the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, of such blasphemous words, delirious. So the tradition here. It was narrated that Sayyid ibn Jubair said, Ibn Abbas said, Thursday. And what is Thursday? Then he wept until his tears wet the pebbles. I said, Oh, Abu Abbas, what about Thursday? He said, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ took a turn for the worse, and he said, come to me. I will dictate for you a document so you will not go astray after I'm gone. But they argued about it, and it's not appropriate to argue in the presence of a prophet. They said, what's the matter with him? Is he delirious? Try to find out what he means. He said, let me be. The state in which I am now is better. I urge you to do 3 things. Expel the adulterers from the Arabian Peninsula and reward the delegations that I used to do. Yeah, so that's the end of the tradition. So as you can see, I've showed you those 2 narrations. Both of them confirmed that a group of people, and according to some accounts, it being Umar, called the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. So I'll pass the mic over to Brother Raza.
Yeah, now Sayyid Ali, those narrations that you showed me, that narration at the moment, so at the moment in that narration, Sayyid Ali, has any narration mentioned who it is yet?
No, not at this point. Nah, not at this point. The traditions have not mentioned. But we'll get to that.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to who it was in a minute. Now, Sayyid Ali, could you go back to the reference for 1 minute? I want to do a little dissection of that hadith. Sweet.
Surgery time, baby. Surgery time. Oh man, where's medicine man? I should get medicine man up.
Medicine man, man. I need to use. I don't want to use medicine man's lines. That's his line, man. That's his line, man. You made that line famous.
You know, well, you're about to make some incision cuts right about now, but he needs to
incision cuts, bro.
Sing a little bit. Aye.
It's up on the screen.
All right, cool. Sayyid Ali brought us back to the serious business. Sayyid Ali. All right, cool. So look. The point is that what's interesting about this incident is you have a Sahabi on the rank of Ibn Abbas. The rank of Ibn Abbas, who's clearly taking this issue he's taking it very seriously. Ibn Abbas used to cry about this and constantly cry, and he used to cry so much until the pebbles used to be wet. So imagine how much one has to cry. The point here is, to all the brothers and sisters who are watching, is that Ibn Abbas saying that if someone says, you know what, the Shia are making this issue bigger than it is, what will my reply be? My reply will be, I'm following the Sunnah of Ibn Abbas. I'm following the Salaf. The people who claim to follow the Salaf, they should follow the Salaf. And Ibn Abbas is from the Salaf. And he's not only from the Salaf, he's from the Sahaba from the Salaf.
Not only follow the Salaf, but I would add to that, follow the Quran and the Sunnah. And the way the Salaf understood these two. So if the Salaf understood this event or this incident to be a very tragic thing, then you can't downplay the Sunnah. You can't downplay the words of Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his family. You can't downplay this incident because the Salaf never understood it to be of a light thing. They took it very seriously. That's our point.
So basically, like you said, if someone says, follow the Quran and Sunnah, and how many times have you heard Kalam? I follow the Quran and Sunnah and the understanding of the Salaf Salihin, of the companions, of the Tabi'een, of the Tabi'een. So therefore, follow the understanding then. Ibn Abbas is giving you the understanding. He used to cry over it. When I talk to you about it, you don't even cry. You just say it's a minor. So therefore, you're not following the understanding. Number one. Number two, again, the three things the Prophet said, I keep seeing two. I keep seeing two things. That is, let's see the little commentary here that is on number one. That is, some of them thought that it was better that he not be bothered with that due to the strain on his condition, while others thought that it should be considered an order from him. Then some of them asked the others whether they thought that there was something wrong with him. Maybe they thought he was delirious. Here you go, brothers downplaying it. MashaAllah, the scholars are doing a lot of amazing commentary right now. And that is why they did not want him to write. And then they told him that they should listen to what he is saying and try to understand it. So you can see the scholars doing a lot of acrobatics here. He's trying one place to another, trying to defend the sanctity. The thing is, you know what's very sad about these kind of things is that we all say we're Muslim. We all say we're followers of the Prophet. At this moment in time, the person that should be followed is the Prophet, and whose defense, the person who we should be defending is the Prophet, no one else. The first person who deserves defense is the Prophet. So now if someone's calling him astaghfirullah delirious, we should all be rushing to defend him. It's from the opposing school, and especially to the people that study their school, you'll notice that they constantly defend the people who disrespect the Prophet. It's a very common trait in the meaning, even if it comes down to astaghfirullah, you can basically put the Prophet down, but don't put the Sahaba down. It comes to that level sometimes.
It does.
So you know what? Yeah, this is getting kind of peak right about now. I'm curious, because I want to know who exactly was in the room and who was making these types of comments.
We've not even finished the traditions yet, because I've got just two more traditions which I want to conclude on before we move on to that. Okay?
All right, let's get it. This is what we call proper scholarship, in-depth scholarship. I love this. Let's get it.
Let's bring these traditions up. If you just bear with me a minute. So it should come up on your screen any minute.
It's a very side point, Kalam. A very side point. Just for that last doubt that someone might put in someone's heart. Even though we're quoting from Bukhari and Muslim, and we've seen the esteemed status of Bukhari and Muslim, if someone was to present the argument, well, these narrations are khabr al-ahad, meaning they're sole narrations. They're not really on the level of something that you would call mass transmitted. If someone was to make that angle, an argument, what would we answer? We say your own school says you can accept narrations of khabr al-ahad even in matters related to belief.
And draw a key on it.
So in matters of belief, in theology, even if a narration is khabr al-ahad, meaning narrated by a singular person, a single solitary report, it is still accepted in matters of creed.
It's a principle of the Salafi.
So it's a principle of their school. So there goes that out the window, just in case someone was waiting to fire that on me.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I just want to elaborate on your point as well, Raza, and that was the fact of the matter is, even if it is an isolated report through one companion, that should be sufficient as evidence, because nobody else disobeyed it. Nobody else rejected it. Everyone else generally accepted it. So
no one rejects it.
And just to emphasize, it's not actually the only isolated report. There are other companions who narrated this incident as well. Okay, so let's continue on with the traditions. And the next tradition is from Say Muslim.
I want the narrations to get extreme and extremer. Okay.
Of course.
Let me just stop you lot right there before you lot continue. Family, we have over 200 people tuned in right now, yeah? Regardless if you agree with the point or disagree with the point, yeah? We're bringing you some groundbreaking information, yeah? Show your support. You're here on the channel right now. Hit the like button, family. Hit the like button. Let us know that you're actually feeling what we're doing right now. You're actually feeling what we're doing. Let us know, man. Let us know you're here to actually support Titans TV. Let us know that you're here to support my Shia brothers. Let us know that you're here to support my Sunni brothers when they come in later on to actually give their counter arguments as well. Give me a like button if you're here for freedom of speech. Come on, family. Let's get it in. Let's actually get it in. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below.
Subscribe, like to Titans TV all day, every day. Come on, let's get it. Let's get those likes up.
I think Kalam made a very interesting point, and that is that a platform should be, people should be allowed to express their views and thoughts. And, it's good to discuss these things to see what the other party says. And it kind of takes away this ignorance of what the ignorance people have about each other. But nevertheless, let's carry on to the tradition. Say Muslim, volume 4. Okay. It was tradition page number 376, the Book of Wills. The Book of Wills. Kitab al-Wasiyat says here as well. Okay. So tradition 42333. 4233. It was narrated from Sa'id ibn Jubair that Ibn Abbas said, Thursday and a Thursday. Then his tears started to flow until I saw what looked like strings of pearls on his cheeks. He said, the Messenger of Allah said, bring me a shoulder blade and an ink pot, or a tablet and an ink pot, and I will dictate for you a document after which you will never go astray. They said, the Messenger of Allah is in a state of delirium.
That sounds like an accusation. That doesn't sound like a question no more.
Okay, so here's another tradition. Tradition number 4234. It was narrated, Ibn Abbas said, when the Messenger of Allah was dying, there were men in the house, among who was Umar ibn Khattab. The Prophet said, come, let me dictate for you a document after which you will never go astray. Umar said, the Messenger of Allah is overcome with pain, and you have the Quran. The book of Allah is sufficient for us. The people in the house disagreed, and then they argued. Some of them said, come close, and I will let a messenger of Allah dictate for you a document after which you will not go astray. Others agreed with Umar. So look, there's two groups. Some of them said, come close, let the messenger of Allah dictate for you a document after which you will not go astray. So that was one group. One group was saying, listen, give the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, pen and paper. Allow him to write his will. Now there was another group. Others agreed with Umar. So what do you think Umar and those others agreed on? Perhaps that he was what? Astaghfirullah, delirious? When the ideal talk and argument in the presence of the Messenger of Allah became too much, the Messenger of Allah said, get up and leave. Ubaidullah said, Ibn Abbas used to say, what a calamity it was when the Messenger of Allah was prevented from dictating a document from them because of the disagreement and noise.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a Kalam. The fire's coming now. Okay. So we're starting to realize who it is now. So we've gone to the next stage. First stage was general. Now we're getting to specifics. So Sayyid Ali, could you go to that narration quickly?
Sayyid
Ali, same narration. Sayyid, can you hear me? Is it Kalam, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. He's bringing it up now. There we go.
It should be up on your screen.
Yeah, cool. Now,
it's not up on the screen. It's my face. I can see my beautiful brown round face just glistening on the TV screen right about now. So I don't know. You may have to just.
Where's the trim though? Where's the trim? Where's the trim?
Allow me, fam. Allow me. Where do you think I'm hiding, fam? I'm hiding. I'm like a reaper right about now.
The hood up.
Man's got the hood up. It's covering the hair, bro.
Trust me. This is the Shia style right about now. You know about this.
You gotta get these beards, bro. You gotta get these beards on sleek, on deck.
Ooh, wait. You know, look, you're there,
Yeah.
and I'm here. You're there, and I'm here. God damn.
All right. One thing, Kalam, that's interesting though, is while he gets it up anyway, I just wanted to say that again, you know, with Titans TV, one thing that I'm liking the platform, I'm liking the academia, I'm liking the level of respect, and I think coming on Titans TV's, alhamdulillah, with 2018 January, coming on Titans TV has humbled everyone. I think it's a good platform. I think even coming on here, watching Shamsi's video the other day, you know, the refutation video that he made. You know, even with Shamsi, as much as we might disagree, I felt like he had good etiquettes and akhlaq in that video. You know, I felt like he kept it real. So that's what I was gonna say. We got like Shamsi says, it's about being just. I'm gonna show him that the Shia are more just than the Sunnis. So I'll give him that. I'm not gonna give him nothing for the content because I gotta be real with it, brother. The content was
not so much reputation.
But you know what? In terms of his way he moved and the way he, you know, they might have dropped the he might have dropped the occasional rawafid. But generally, in terms of the actual akhlaq and stuff, gotta salute him. So brothers set a precedent like that. If brothers want to discuss, we have to have that caliber. So you gotta big up Shamsi for that, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll give credit where it's due.
Give credit where it's due, man.
We'll give credit where it's due.
Sayyid Ali. All right, cool. We done? Yeah, cool. Thank you. Cool. So now it was narrated from Sayyid ibn Jubair that Ibn Abbas Thursday and what Thursday was. Now we've studied the tiers. We've studied about isn't it now at the last part of that tradition. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is every narration gives you a little part of the puzzle. That's what I'm trying to tell you here to the viewers. Every tradition gives you a part of the puzzle. We know they're in a house. We know the Prophet is well. The Prophet is unwell. We can see there's people around him. We can see the Prophet's asked for the pen and paper. We can see he's used the same wording he used when he said, I leave for you the Quran and Ahlul Bayt. Those two things you will never go. So before he said, I leave for you two things you'll never go astray with. And if you hold on to them, you'll never go astray. And now he's saying, I'll write for you two things. If you follow, you'll never go astray. So you can see the wording's common. What do we see different in this narration? In this narration, in some of these narrations, kind of most interesting is the translate and the Arabic. It comes across as, the Prophet is overcome by pain. So when the Prophet ﷺ was asked, he asked for a pen and paper. The Sahaba and specifically Umar said, the Prophet is overcome by pain. The Quran is enough for us. But you see, again, that's a mask. That's covering it up. In reality, what was said is, he is delirious. Now, there's also a twisted delirious angle. One twist is he delirious? Because that's a question. I could say to you, Kalam, are you delirious? Or there's a big difference between saying that and accusing you and saying you are delirious. Do you agree, Kalam? Big differences between the two. Now watch this. In this narration, they said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in a state of delirium. So this is basically stating something. This is basically stating your opinion. Because no doubt it's a lie. So we reject that straight away. But the point is, the person saying that it's an accusation. It's not a question. No one can try and say, oh, they were just asking, they were inquiring. No, they were telling the Prophet, listen, astaghfirullah, this is your state. This is what we're accusing you of. And we don't need the second thing you're going to tell us. We need the Quran because Umar made it clear. The Quran is enough for us. He said, the Quran is enough for us. So he took one thing and rejected the other. And what was the other one? The Prophet's family, the Ahlul Bayt. Now watch this. It was narrated that Ibn Abbas said, when the Messenger of Allah was dying, there were men in the house, among whom were Umar bin Khattab. Now we've mentioned Umar's name. The Prophet said, let me dictate for you something that you'll never go astray. Umar said. Who said? Umar said. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next page, Sayyid. The Umar said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a little bit up, has been overcome with pain. Again, there's the masking. There's that masking. There's that taqiyya going on there. You see the taqiyya going on there? Overcome with pain. And you have the Quran. The book of Allah is sufficient for us. You know those ones where you use a word to say something else. They're trying to translate it. They're trying to lower down the tone of the wording. But in reality, you know the word overcome with pain wasn't used. The word that was used was delirious. the people in the house disagreed and they argued. The narration already said Delirious, didn't
Yes,
it?
already
In
said
the narration, they
Delirious.
already said Delirious, so they're masking it.
Yes.
Some of them have said, come close and let the Messenger of Allah dictate for you a document after you, which never go astray. So therefore, you can see two groups now. One group is backing the Prophet. One group is saying, no, we follow Umar. To this day, this is the problem that we have. One group will say, we're following what the Prophet's saying. One group will say, we follow what Umar will say. And this is the problem in that. Others agreed with what Umar said. When their idle talk and argument in their presence became too much, Rasulullah ﷺ said, get out and leave. So the Prophet actually said, get out and leave. The Prophet had enough. He got angry. He said, get out. Him saying to get out leaves and shows that his state of mind was much clearer than they thought he was, or what they were accusing him of was. Tafsir of it and says what a calamity it was on that day that we never got the guidance that the Prophet told us about. And this is exactly what we're upon. This is exactly what we're saying here in the 21st century. We're not making up our own creed. We're telling you the creed, and that creed is actually narrated by Ibn Abbas. We're not making something up here.
I just want to elaborate to a point as well, which I mentioned earlier. It was the book of Al-Furuq. I just want to make my clarification on that. The word Sadiq means truthful, and the word Furuq means the one who can separate truth from falsehood. So I just wanted to correct myself on that. I don't know why it was a slip of the tongue. And it was interesting because in that book, he does mention, as I showed earlier, that the Prophet did want to dictate his successor within that will as well. So if we come back to this tradition where we've got these groups of people, we've got one group of people who perhaps did recognize that the Prophet was in pain at the time on his deathbed, and they wanted to give him the pen and paper. Then we had another group of people who essentially considered him to be delirious and didn't want to give him pen and paper.
Right, say that
So
again.
I just want to. Sorry, Said, did you say something there?
Yeah, say that. The more I want more detailed narrations now.
Sure. So if you give me a minute, I'm just going to bring up the screen for you. And this is from a very famous book known as The History of Dabri, also known as Tariq al-Dabri.
Dabri is Kalam's favorite.
So the tradition is also located again in the history of Dabri, the last years of the Prophet. And the tradition is right in front of you, page 175. See from the top. There's a chain of narrators, and then it goes straight into Ibn Abbas. Thursday, what a Thursday. Sayyid ibn Jubair states, then I looked at Ibn Abbas's tears flowing on his cheeks, as if they were a chain of pearls, saying, the Messenger of God said, bring me a tablet and an ink pot, or a plank of the shoulder blade, and an ink pot, so that I can write for you a document after which you will not go astray. Some people, when it says some people, who were they? They were Sahaba. They were people who had seen the Prophet, who were around the Prophet. What did they say? That the Messenger of God was talking deliriously.
Okay, so again, it's an accusation. It's not a question anymore. I think the point of the questioning is anyone is clear to see that you'll notice this in a lot of in the whole aspect of Sunni books is that the Sunni scholars have a tendency to hide the faults of the Sahaba. So anything that they do that they have a problem with that clearly shows that they disrespected or they were wrong, they mask it, either by changing the meaning, and it's actually within their creed to do this. So it's in their creed to basically avoid showing anything that will make the Sahaba look bad, even if they are bad. So that's why sometimes they'll say overcome with pain. That's why sometimes they'll say stuff like, oh, was he delirious? They'll keep changing it until literally, but the thing is, the truth, Allah always sets the truth free and he shows it from their own books, really, innit? That's what happens. Now,
yeah, I just want to add that. So we just primarily stuck with the Bukhari and Muslim. These traditions are found within the 6 major hadith works. They're found elsewhere as well. So we just stuck with Bukhari and Muslim. So there's no disagreement, okay? We don't want people coming after saying, oh, well, this tradition is weak, that tradition is weak, etc., etc. So for now, we just stuck with Bukhari and Muslim. But again, these traditions are found within the 6 main books. So, Kalam, I want you to bring up a verse from the Holy Quran, inshallah. I want you to share it with everyone. This is from Surah 53, verse 3, just bear with me. Sorry, Surah 49, verses 2 and 3. You can share it, inshallah. MashaAllah, we've got some youth as well in the background.
Oh yeah, we got. I see the shabab. I see the youngsters. I see the youngsters still. Assalamu alaikum.
So the verse is as follows. O you who believe, raise not your voices. And I'll wait for Kalam can actually bring it up on the screen, inshallah.
Follows. He said follows, Daddy.
So the verse is, O you who believe, raise not your voices above the voice of the Prophet, nor speak aloud to him in talk as you speak aloud to one and another. Have we just lost? We just cut signal? Are we still live, guys?
Yeah. We're still there. I'm still there.
Okay. Is Kalam there with us?
Yeah. I think he's just showing us on his he's just showing us his the verse. All right, so it says, "O you who believe, do not raise your voices above the voice of the Prophet or be loud to him in speech, like the loudness of some of you to others, lest your deeds become worthless while you perceive not." Clearly, you see a ruling here.
Carry on reading. Surely, those who lower their voices before Allah's apostle, are they whose hearts Allah has tested for guarding against evil? They shall have forgiveness and great reward. So this verse is very interesting because I don't want to go into the history about what actually happened in terms of the revelation of this verse, which once again, ironically, it actually refers to Umar and Abu Bakr. And it was a particular time when they wanted to choose a leader. So they quarreled amongst them each other in front of the Prophet. And this is when this verse was revealed. So we know from history now that even though this verse was revealed about that particular occasion, again, we see, one of the individuals, which was Umar at the time, and some Sahaba raising their voices. And look what the verse says. It says, least your deeds shall be, basically all your good deeds, all the reward you've gained, if you have done good, they'll be worthless. They'll be worth nothing.
All right, so Sayyid, so we can see basically as a summary, that verse came down previously for, as they call it, the Shaykhain, Abu Bakr and Umar. It came down for them. That if there was an occasion that they raised their voice in front of the Prophet, and that verse came down to give them a warning. And now Umar's done it again. So he's done it again, basically. What's interesting is, Sayyid Ali, if you could bring up the narrations that talk about how we have to accept everything that the Prophet says, and everything that he says is the truth. How Prophet made it clear that whatever comes out of this blessed mouth of mine, no matter in what state, we have to take it and we have to accept it.
Absolutely. In fact, what I'd like Kalam to do is bring up the verses himself. So I want to, before we go to the traditions, I think it's important we discuss the verses. So let's look at what the Holy Quran says about submitting and obeying Allah's messenger. So if Kalam, if you can bring up verse 53, verses 3 and 4. So it's the Holy Quran says, nor does he speak from his own inclination. It is but revelation revealed to him. Okay, let's go to another verse of the Quran. Surah 8:46, inshallah.
So just while Sayyid Ali and Kalam do that, so that.
Sorry, bro, it's 8:46.
8:46. Okay, cool. So the point is that the people who raise the voice are clearly now wrong according to the Quran.
Well, let me just read the verses. These verses are crucial. Look what the Quran says elsewhere. And obey Allah and His Messenger, and do not dispute, and thus lose courage, and then your strength will depart. And be patient. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. So another verse of the Quran ordering us to submit to Allah and His Messenger. And the fact previously I read the other verse which says, everything He says is but revelation. So let's look at another verse of the Holy Quran. Surah 59:7. And what Allah has restored to his messenger from the people of the towns, it is for Allah and his messenger and for his near relatives and orphans and traveler. Oh, okay. Sorry, just actually, do you know what? Yes, so yeah, it carries on and it says, and whatever the messenger of Allah has given you, take. And what he has forbidden you, refrain from it. So again, an order that we must be in total unconditional surrender to the messenger of Allah. Okay, let me bring up another verse. I just want to bring up a couple of verses because first I think it's important that we need to look at the verses of the Quran before we go to hadith. So if we go to another verse, it says, Surah 8 verse 24. Surah 8 verse 24. And the verse says, "O you who believe, respond to Allah and his messenger when he calls you to what which he gives you life, and know what Allah intervenes between man and his heart, and that to him you will be gathered." So again, when the messenger of Allah calls you, be ready to even sacrifice be ready to sacrifice your life, you know. So be ready, just be ready on call for the messenger of Allah. Okay, let me bring another verse really quickly.
Verses said earlier, making it clear that when Allah, the Prophet, tell you to do something, there's no buts.
Okay, so let me give you another verse. Kalam, verse 465. And it says, "So never by your Lord, never shall they become believers." So you're not even a believer at this point unless they make you the judge in the disputes that arise between them, and find no discomfort in their hearts against what you have decided, and surrender to it in total submission to whatever Allah and his messenger orders you. Okay, another verse, Surah 26 215. Surah 26 215, does it come up? Let me just read it out for you. Give me a second. Does it come up? Your screen has gone all funny, Callum.
Yeah, it's come up. It might be 216. Can you see it?
Okay, look at this. "And if they disobey you, then say, indeed, I am dissociated from what you're doing."
Which is exactly what he said when he told him to get out the room.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's exactly what he did. One point that's very gentle to clarify here is that when the Prophet actually did say that, when they actually accused the Prophet of that, and they were raising their voices, there was also Sahaba who didn't raise their voices. So it's clear you had two groups. You had one group that were raising their voices, saying don't write it, and there was one group that was not raising their voices and saying write it. So clearly, if someone makes an objection, Kalam, because if someone makes an objection, oh, why didn't the Prophet, why didn't the people, the other companions force the Prophet to write it? Or why didn't the Prophet's family force him to write it? Because the same people that Prophet's family, they will say, oh, why didn't they say to write it? The point is, them saying silent is the ruling of Allah. It's the ones that have to explain that were loud.
And Callum, sorry, can you just bring up another verse for me, please?
And then there's a verse I said Ali mentioned already, don't raise your voices above the Prophet.
Sorry, bro. Surah 26 215. And what does it say? 215. "And lower your wings to those who follow you of the believers. And if they disobey you, then say, indeed, I am dissociated from what you're doing." Interestingly, when it comes to, you know, the Quran generally gives instructions for Muslims to be merciful to everyone. But especially when it comes to a Muslim, you're supposed to be extra merciful, so to say. The Quran says, "And be kind with humbleness to the believers who followed you." But we can see the Prophet, ﷺ, he ordered these group of people to leave the house. Obviously, the ones who were disputing in front of him, and you know, calling him Astaghfirullah Delirious. But I just want to conclude on one more verse, Kalam, and this is from Surah 16, verse 64. Surah 16, verse 64. And we have not revealed to you the book, except for you to make clear to them that wherein they have differed, and as guidance and mercy for the people who believe. So this verse is very crucial because it's showing us that the Prophet, may peace and blessing be upon him and his family, he came to teach people the Quran. So how do we understand the Quran? We understand the Quran through the actions of the Prophet, may peace and blessing be upon him, his sayings and doings. So here, this verse is actually ordering us to refer back to the Prophet and refer to the Sunnah, refer to his prophetic teachings, to learn the interpretation of the Quran. So for those who say the Quran was sufficient for us, are going directly against this particular verse, when the Quran has said clearly that, look, we have sent down the book to you only because you, meaning the Messenger of Allah, may explain to them, meaning the people, what they differed about, and be a guidance and mercy for the people who believe. So I'm just going to pass on to Raza now. Inshallah, we'll discuss the traditions after this.
That's it. Say it now, Kalam. Where we stand now, Kalam. Let's take a little breather. Where do we stand, Kalam? Where do we stand? What do you want to hit me with? I want you to be a devil's advocate now.
Boy, it's looking kind of peak right about now, you know. So what I want, to be honest with you, is to jump straight into the meat. I want you to jump straight into the meat because we're running out of time. So I'm going to be devil's advocate once you've just jumped into the meat, because so far it's peak. There ain't nothing more to say, but it's peak. So let's get it.
It's peak. I like it. I like the lingo. All right, cool. So we are where we stand right now. The second thing now we want to go to is, obviously, look, clearly we've got a claim here of Umar basically saying that the Quran is enough for us. So this statement, the Quran is enough for us, if a Muslim came today and said the Quran is enough for us, we don't need the Sunnah, I think every Muslim will say this guy's clearly deviated.
Most scholars will say he's apostate.
A lot of scholars actually make the distinction, and they say anyone who differentiates between the Quran and Sunnah, or says the Quran's enough for us, a lot of scholars even try and go as far as doing takfir on the person. And Salafi scholars are quite known for that, by the way. Salafi scholars are quite known for this aspect of, if you deny the Sunnah, it's basically kufr.
Yeah, let me go straight into the tradition now. I'm going to share it right now on the screen. So let's quickly read some of these traditions. So this is from Sunnah Abu Dawud.
All right, let's go to it.
Volume 4. And inshallah, the tradition is on page 209.
Okay, so it was narrated that Abdullah bin Umar said, I used to write down everything that I heard from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wanting to memorize it. But the Quraysh told me not to do that. Who told him not to do that? This part's very important. The Quraysh. And they said, do not write down everything you hear from him. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is human and speaks when he is angry and when he is content. Notice whose belief that is today, that the Prophet's a human being like us. He can make mistakes. He's a normal guy. That whole Salafi belief that they keep saying about the Prophet, notice how that was actually the Qurayshi belief. So I stopped writing things down. I mentioned that to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he pointed to his blessed mouth with his finger and said, write, for by the one in whose hand is my soul, nothing comes out from it but the truth. Nothing comes out by the truth. The Prophet's making a clear distinction. There is nothing to do with, oh, the Prophet is angry, he's happy. That does not apply to the Prophet.
Let's have a look at the next tradition.
Hey, carry on.
Sunnah Abu Dawud, volume 5. And the tradition is on page number 160, the book of Sunnah. It was narrated from Abdallah ibn Rafi, from the father, that the Prophet said, let me find one of you. Let me not find one of you
reclining on his couch. So let me not find one of you reclining on his couch, and when he hears of a command that I have enjoined or prohibited, or a prohibition I have issued, he says, we do not know what we find in the book of Allah, we follow. Meaning does that
not remind you of some brothers who try to always argue, oh, can you prove this concept from the Quran alone?
Where have we heard that before? Look, show me from the Quran. Give me
shots fired. Hey, yo, listen, family, you know what, yeah? Like we are literally, I want to get some questions in at least, yeah, from my audience member, my panel members in very soon, yeah, because it's getting real peak, and I need to make sure that it gets a little bit heated in the mix still. So let me know, family, when we could take a little quick chill, and I can get a question in from the audience.
All right, cool. Sayyid Ali, what's
Yeah.
next? What's next?
Okay, so if you just give me a minute, I'll just bring it up for you. So, you know, we've concluded now roughly.
Sayyid Ali, would you like to mention before we forget about Abu Bakr on his deathbed?
Yeah, let me show you something interesting. So we've had a group of people now who've obviously accused the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him and his family, of being delirious, and they questioned his mental state at the time. So here we're looking at another book. It's very interesting. It's called The History of Tabari. Okay, and let's just go straight to the tradition. This is an account of Abu Bakr on the deathbed now. So before we were talking about the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon his deathbed. Now we're going to go into Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, being the first Khalifa within Sunnism, is considered to be the first Khulafa Rashidin, the first rightly guided Khalifa. Okay, obviously that's not the Shia position, but yeah. The events of year 13, page number 147. Okay, and the tradition is as follows. So here's a chain of narrators, and it goes. Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Harith, Abu Bakr summoned Uthman to him in private and said to him, "Write, in the name of God, the all compassionate, the merciful." This is what Abu Bakr ibn Abi Quhafa has enjoined on the Muslims. Now then, at this point, he fainted, losing consciousness. So Abu Bakr is on his deathbed. He's requested Uthman to write out a will for him while he's in deathbed. And it says, at this point, he fainted, losing consciousness. Uthman wrote, "Now then, I have appointed Umar ibn Khattab as my successor over you. I have not neglected the best among you." Then Abu Bakr woke and said, read it to me. So after Abu Bakr was unconscious, he woke up and he goes, read me what you just wrote. When he read it to Abu Bakr, he said, "God is greater." And then went on, "I see that you were afraid that the people would quarrel if I died suddenly in my coma." So look at this. Abu Bakr is on his deathbed, right? He's going in and out of consciousness. He asks Usman to bring to write out his will. While he's writing this will out, Abu Bakr passes out. He wakes up again, asks Usman, "What have you written?" Right? And then Abu Bakr says, "God is great." Then he went and say, "I see that you were afraid that the people would quarrel if I died suddenly in my coma." So this is Abu Bakr now on the deathbed, considering what would possibly happen in terms of dispute, in terms of leadership. Yet the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, that didn't occur in his mind, not to write a will out and not to nominate a successor. Like, come on, like, let's be a bit logical here, right? So yes. Uthman said, "Yes, Abu Bakr, may God reward you kindly for the sake of Islam and its people." Abu Bakr confirmed the text from this place. So yeah, that's the end of the tradition. And I'm going to pass on the mic to you guys.
So basically, there we can see again that Abu Bakr is leaving his Khalifa very clearly for the Ummah. And actually, he was actually going in and out of consciousness constantly. And Uthman knew it wise to put the Khalifa's name on his wasiyah, and they acted upon it. So they were wise, and they done that. And they accepted that, even though he was actually in and out. If there was someone who was probably in and out of consciousness, it was Abu Bakr. Yet he's not issued of being declared of delirious, and his will is accepted. Let the Prophet's one's denied. So you can see the double standards that are clear there. Now also, in terms of the aspect on the fatwa, in terms of what the scholars say about the person of today who actually disrespects the Prophet in that manner. Sayyid Ali, do you have that narration, that quotation from?
I think I want to bring up something for Kalam as well. Are you seeing my screen at the moment? Is my screen coming up?
Yeah, Life of Muhammad.
Okay, so I just want to sum up on 2 points now. And that is, okay, so this is a book, it's called The Life of Muhammad by an individual called Haykal. You could search this book up. It's available online. You can purchase it. And let's see what he says about this incident of Thursday. Okay, so we've established now that the incident did happen. It's something which is authentically documented. The scholars spoke about it, and it's quite evidently clear. And the author says here, let's look at what the author says. going to zoom it up for you. So he says, okay, so it says, apologies, there's no page number on this. But yes, you can find it in the book. If you need it, you can always contact Kalam, and Kalam can give you the page number at a later time. But let's see what he says about this incident. So he says the Prophet's wish to write a testament. And at the bottom, he says, after talking about the incident itself, okay, let me read out to you quickly. Okay, now let's just jump straight to the core. Let's just, because this, we've gone over it, we don't want to repeat it, we've proven our point. Look what he says. There can be little doubt that this story is a fabrication of later times. There can be little doubt that this story is a fabrication of later times. So he's denying it. Specifically of the 8th century. So he claims that this is an 8th century fabrication. When at the height of the Hadith movement, controversy arose as to the place of Hadith in the framework of Islamic laws and ideas. Look what he says. It's not likely that Muhammad's closest and most trusted companions or the members of his house, I don't know how the members of the house got into it, would have refused to fulfill a wish their prophet was making on his deathbed. Nor is it likely that the Prophet's Sunnah would have constituted a problem at all, or necessitating such hard contradiction between the written and the oral tradition. So here we have an individual who outrightly denies that this incident even occurred. Because this, obviously you can imagine how embarrassing it is. And last but not least, I just want to read you a very famous book written by a jurist,
Maliki scholar.
Yeah, and the book's called Al-Shifa. And let's bring up what he says about those who insult the Prophet.
Massive scholar.
Chapter 2. The proof set for making it wajib, incumbent, to kill the one reviling or dishonoring the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him. With respect to the proof set from the Quran, it involves that Allah, the Supreme, curses those who offend the Prophet in the worldly life and in the hereafter, and makes anything detrimental to the Prophet be linked with being offensive to him. Thus, there's no discord as to killing the one who abuses Allah, and Allah's curse gets due on the disbelieving one, and thereby the legal judgment concerning him is to be killed.
Like Kalam done last time. Kalam knew the answer. He downplayed it. Look, we know what it is, isn't it? We know what it is.
Just
but again, I just want to point out something here, Kalam. In terms of the legal punishment for somebody who, insults the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, as you can understand, under any country you live in, each country has its own laws that you abide by. Obviously, this law doesn't apply in a non-Muslim country. And according to the Shia position, to the 12er position, when it comes to certain, especially capital punishment, we don't believe that this punishment is carried out by anyone. We believe that, it has to be carried out by an infallible, which is our 12 Imams. But again, that's a topic for another time. But as you can clearly see, the narration mentions that anyone who disrespects the Prophet, his punishment would be death.
Now, listen. Now, here's one thing, Kalam. Before we're gonna, I know you're itching for that question time, and I know we got time, but I'm gonna literally go for 1-2 more things quickly. Here we go, Kalam. Now, whenever there's a context of a hadith, we look at whenever there's a hadith presented. Look, we're not literalists. We're a school, especially from a Shia school that we belong to. We're a rational school. We understand everything has a context. The issue here is clearly someone denying the Prophet and disrespecting the Prophet. It's funny because the opponents, Kalam, they bring an issue, and I would like to deal with this issue to make sure, to see how far people go to actually defend Umar and the Sahaba. You'll be surprised. They actually go to an incident of Imam Ali alayhi salam at the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Now, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was a peace treaty the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had in his life. You might know about it, Kalam, and you might not, that he had with the non-Muslims as a peace treaty. And it was basically, it was a peace, conditions were written out, and they both left it at that. Now, at that moment in time, what happened was the opponents, the mushrikeen, told the Prophet, but the Prophet said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, they said wipe out Only write Allah, don't write the rest of it. The Prophet said, no problem. Then they said to the Prophet, also about myself, the Prophet says, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the messenger of Allah. The opponents, the mushrikeen said, well, if we believed you were the Prophet, we wouldn't be having this war with you. So wipe out the part which says messenger of Allah, just leave Muhammad ibn Abdullah, because we accept your name is Muhammad. And that's all we believe of you. The Prophet then said to Imam Ali, can you please erase that? Imam Ali said, I am not the one who will erase it. Or according to some narrations, I cannot erase it. The funny thing is, Kalam, here is that the opponents say, listen, oh, but hold on, Imam Ali opposed the Prophet, so how come you don't say nothing about him? So it's one of those ones where I don't know if I should even worth responding to this. But the point is that, can you see the clear level people will go to try and say Imam Ali not erasing it is clearly due to the love that he says, I know you're the messenger of Allah and these people are lying. And the funny thing is, even Sunni scholars have defended Imam Ali and said the reason he said that was what you call desired manners. And I just like to read out one interesting thing. It was by a scholar called Imam Kastalani. He's got a book called Shara al-Mawahib al-Ludunya. He says that the scholar said that what Ali has done is a form of desired manners, because he did not understand from the Prophet's speech that he must erase his name. That is why he did not deny what Ali has said, meaning the Prophet didn't rebuke Ali. The difference is that the Prophet rebuked Umar and the Sahaba. He said, get out. The Prophet didn't rebuke Imam Ali. If the Prophet's speech determined that Ali must erase his name, then it would have not been eligible for Ali to leave his name. Then the Prophet said, show me its place, and he showed him, and the Prophet erased it himself and wrote Ibn Abdullah. So the point is, you can see a reaction from the Prophet that tells you the answer. You don't need to go far. If the Prophet there and then would have said, Imam Ali, you have disobeyed me, get out. We know what the Prophet's on, but he didn't. And you can see the context of this is clearly different. So when people bring this up, wallahi, it's very sad that they literally will bury anyone to get Umar out of the mess that he's in.
Jeez, you know what? Yeah, I actually want to jump onto the point that it seems as though the Prophet, peace be upon him, can actually read and write. That's going to be like a side topic. I don't even want to drop that right now because I really want to get an answer, but I'm not going to drop that right now. What I would love to do is open up the mic, okay, to my brothers who've been tuned in, respectfully for this period of time. What I would like to do is open it up for one question and one question only. Okay, so please have that one question ready. And since my brother Hani has been waiting the longest so far, please ask a question that's related or refute or rebuttal or give your objection or whatever the case you have to any points that was actually raised within inside of this particular video. So again, my brother Hani, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right, so if you can hear me, I will begin by making just a couple of corrections. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right, just a few minutes. I won't take long. So the video began with the Shi'i brothers saying that the Prophet never left a will. Now, the will in Arabic is called al-wasiyah, and we know, all of us, Sunnis and Shia, we know that Ali is referred to as al-wasi. A wasi in Arabic means recipient of the will or executioner of the will. So if the Prophet never left a wasiyah, then how is Ali a wasi? Ali cannot be a wasi if the Prophet never left a wasiyah. So therefore, the fact that Ali is a wasi, as is commonly known, means the Prophet left a wasiyah, and therefore the brothers are wrong in claiming that the Prophet never left a wasiyah. Second of all, there are three types of wasiyahs. The Shi'i brothers claim that it is incumbent or obligatory to leave a wasiyah. This is incorrect. It is not incumbent, nor is it obligatory. There's three types of wasiyah in Islam. There is a wasiyah which is advice, and this is optional, such as leaving a will to your family, telling your children, oh, treat your mother well, do this, do that. This is advice, and Ali ibn Abi Talib left such a wasiyah during his life to Hassan, Hussein, and Muhammad al-Hanafiyyah. And that is found in Al-Kafi, and that is found in other books. The second type of wasiyah is the wasiyah of inheritance, and this is the one that was being talked about in the verse that the Shia brothers quoted. The wasiyah of inheritance is a wasiyah where you say, oh, I'm going to die, I'm leaving behind this wealth. My daughter receives this much, my son receives this much, my uncle receives this much. This is actually abrogated. This was in the beginning of Islam, and it was abrogated by another verse. The other verse is a common verse. It's called Ayat al-Mawarith. It's called يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. So the amount of inheritance to be given to each family member was basically dictated by Allah in another verse, and therefore the previous verse is no longer in effect. And this is why the Prophet says in the Sahih Hadith, لا وصية لوارث. There is no there's no will to be offered to an heir, meaning you cannot offer a will to your heir. The heir has to receive exactly as God appointed, and God appointed the exact same amounts to be received by every heir. The third type of wasiyah is the wasiyah of charity, and this wasiyah was left by Ali ibn Abi Talib and others. This is where you leave 1/3 of your wealth, or sometimes more depending. Ali left it. This is, you can read it in Musannaf Abdul or in Al-Kafi in volume 8 as well. Ali said that I own this and this and this land, and I want to give them as a sadaqah. And I own this and this and this servant, and I wish to set them free. This has nothing to do with inheritance. He's just given away for the sake of Allah what he has. And this is optional as well and recommended. So these are the three types of wasiyahs. So saying that wasiyah is obligatory is incorrect according to the Quran and the Sahih Hadith. So therefore you are incorrect. Second of all, the verse of wasiyah does not necessarily say that the wasiyah has to be written. If you read the verse that you guys read from Surah, I believe it was Surah Al-Baqarah, it doesn't say that it has to be written. So the Prophet ﷺ didn't really need to ask him for a pen and paper if that was the type of wasiyah. He could have just said it. The same way you guys say if it was about khilafah, he could have said it at Ghadir. In fact, he said it at Thaqalain as well, Hadith Thaqalain. These were all things that he said. And as you know, saying something in public in front of thousands is more effective than writing it down on a piece of paper that could have been, destroyed later by your enemies.
Can I respond to that? Sorry, can I respond?
No. Let me finish and then you respond, brother, because I let you guys talk for I don't know, maybe 2 hours.
Brother,
so I'm just finishing in a quick couple of minutes.
You've asked 2 questions.
Just a quick couple of minutes.
Maybe one question at a time.
I was just making corrections. I was not asking a question. None of these are questions. I have never asked you a question thus far. All right. So second of all, the Prophet in the Hadith, he doesn't say, you guys are we're talking about the Quran being sufficient, and that it is incorrect to say that the Quran is sufficient. Umar al-Khattab never said the Quran is sufficient in the context of the Sunnah being rejected. He never rejected the Sunnah. He narrated it during his life, and that is common. In the Sahih Hadith from Jabir ibn Abdallah in the books of Al-Sunnah, the Prophet says, hold on to the Quran, and this is in Arafah during the farewell pilgrimage. He says, hold on to the Quran because you will be guided. لَن تَضُلُّوا بَعْدَهُ أَبَدًا. You will never be misguided after holding on to it. Also, Ali ibn Abi Talib in the first sermon of Nahj al-Balagha says that the Prophet left behind the Quran as a book of guidance, and in it is guidance. Also, the Sahih Hadith of Abu Shuraih al-Khuza'i, and this is in Musannaf ibn Abi Shaybah. The Prophet says, glad tidings I have for you. If you hold on to the Quran, it is a rope from Allah. If you hold on to it, you will never go astray. So Umar ibn Khattab simply repeated exactly word for word what the Prophet said, and that cannot be incorrect. Otherwise, the Prophet is incorrect. Secondly,
you're doing like a series of refutation. It's supposed to be questions.
Alan, bro,
the brother allowed me. The brother allowed me.
I don't think this shows for you to do refutation.
But the brother allowed me to make my points. The brother who is the host allowed me to make my point.
Hold on, my brothers. Indeed. Just to get a quick order into the mix real quickly. Indeed. So we are definitely going to allow my brother to continue. But what I'm actually going to do now is just speed up my brother, because, fair enough, you're actually doing a commentary, giving a comment or basically of what you've heard. But I'm going to actually press you to actually ask your question right about now. So I'm going to get you in to ask your question, direct question. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to unmute and I will ask the question really quickly. So what we have here, obviously, is a hadith that the Sunnis and the Shia differ upon. The Sunnis say that Umar al-Khattab felt bad that the Prophet was in pain, and he told them, give the Prophet time to rest. And then when he is, inshallah, healed, basically, you will be able to learn from him what you need to learn. And the Shia say, no, Umar al-Khattab was trying to prevent something from being written down. So the person who understands this the most and knows exactly what happened is who? It is none other than Abdullah ibn Abbas, who is the main narrator of this hadith, because he was present, and so he understands the context better than the Sunnis and the Shias that came 1,400 years later. And therefore, due to this, in the same book of Sahih al-Bukhari, Abdullah ibn Abbas enters upon Umar ibn Khattab and tells him the following. He tells him, صحبت رسول الله فأحسنت صحبته ثم فارقته وهو عنك راض. Ibn Abbas tells Umar, you have accompanied the Prophet, okay, and you did really well. And then the Prophet passed away and he was very pleased with you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if Ibn Abbas had understood from this hadith, which he narrated, if he had understood from this hadith that Umar was actually saying it in an evil context and that he was trying to prevent knowledge, then Ibn Abbas wouldn't have said that the Prophet had passed away. And if Ibn Abbas is saying the opposite, that means Ibn Abbas is lying and we shouldn't believe him in the first place. And therefore, Hadith Raziyat al-Khamis itself shouldn't be accepted because it's coming from a liar. So answer me this question then. If Ibn Abbas understands it better than me and you and he was an eyewitness, then how can he say that the Prophet in Sahih al-Bukhari passed away while being very pleased with Umar ibn al-Khattab, as opposed to what you guys are saying? Would he not understand it better than you? And
Excellent.
thank you.
Thank you very much. If it's possible, could we just bring up that quote in Sahih Bukhari so our audience members can actually see what the brother is actually talking about? I'm going to try myself. Umar, being pleased. Please.
Oh, you have to. You probably have to write it in Arabic. I had not much time to prepare for the episode. I was just told basically 5 to 10 minutes before the show started.
Okay.
So I don't have the numbers, but I can give you the Arabic text from my memory. It says صحبته فأحسنت صحبته ثم فارقته وهو عنك راض. Then you have, he passed away and he was pleased with you.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to get my Shia brothers on to.
Sure. Raza, what I'll do, the thing is, the brother, what he did is he did make several points, and I think it's important that they get addressed because there are some valid questions there. And then obviously we'll move on to this final his final comment. So I kind of briefly took rough notes in terms of what he said. The first point was that, did the Prophet write a will? And since Imam al-Islam was the carrier of that will, where is it? Well, what we believe, the Shia position, because obviously today we're talking about the Sunni position, we're talking about Sunni literature. The Shia position is, as far as we're concerned, we believe the will was written, okay? And in that will, it had the names of the Imams alayhi salam. Of course, we can go into a whole dispute on a separate issue, on the issue of Imama, what happened, etc., etc. But as far as we're concerned, the will was written. The book Kitab Salam ibn Qais, it mentions the will of the Prophet, and it discusses how after this group of people left, the Prophet dictated the will, and the will was written down, okay? The other point was, okay, why wasn't the will written after? Or as in, from a Sunni perspective, who else received the will? Well, let's be honest here, okay? The Prophet was being accused of being delirious. Do you think at that point, even if he wrote a will, anyone would take him seriously? Kalam, if I'm telling you now that, look, you're crazy, okay? This guy is crazy. And you write down something, do you think anyone's going to take that statement seriously?
No, well, I would have to say, the larger community outside of the house wouldn't take it seriously, but I'm pretty sure the inside community who actually know the Prophet better and know his will better would have taken it.
Of course. So, at the end of the day, one would say, well, okay, he was delirious when he wrote that. Why should we trust it? After all, I showed you tradition that says, look, he's a man, and sometimes he gets angry, and sometimes he gets so and so and so and so. The truth is, nobody would have taken that will seriously anyway, regardless, okay? The issue of will, whether it was something wajib or not, as Brother Zan mentioned, Raza mentioned earlier, he never said it was wajib. He said it's highly recommended, almost wajib. Please go back and listen to it at the start. He said it's highly recommended, almost wajib. At no point did he say, look, you have to do it, and that's it. You understand? But of course, it's the most advisable thing to do.
I said scholars disagree. Some scholars say highly recommended, some scholars say wajib.
No,
Yeah, go carry on, Sid.
The point is, it doesn't make a difference. The point is, look, if it wasn't something wide, I mean, Abu Bakr had considered it something important. You know, he's on his deathbed, and he was worried that what the people would say after. You know, he was worried about the disputes that could possibly take place after he passes away. So, you know, again, why would the Prophet not know this? And I've already showed the statement of scholars who also mentioned that this will was going to include the person who was going to succeed him. Do you understand? So I don't know if you want to carry on, Raza, on the point about
just a quick narration that I'm going to add to that. Can you show me that? The actual. There's actually a Kalam, you know, because obviously there's a lot of brothers here. I want to give everyone a chance, inshallah. You got to be fair. You got to keep it fair, in it, Kalam. So I'm going to show you a quick narration, and I want you lot to, if you lot can actually show it on a Kalam, if you can show it, or Sayyid Ali, you can show it. Just write the thing. Go to sunnah.com for a minute.
/Bukhari/
No, you know what it is. If you can just
if you write it like that, then it comes.
Yeah. So Sayyid Ali, I'm gonna share something to you right now. Just share this, Sayyid Ali, and I want you to just click on it and show it on the screen, because this is a very interesting game changer. 1 minute. Cool. Sayyid Ali, share that. Oh no, but it's on his. Can you get that up?
If you just write it on the internet on the tab, it'll come up straight away. It will go straight directly to it. So
can't hear you.
Sayyid Ali, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't. So sunnah.com.
There we go. Got it. All right. All right, brothers and sisters, watch this. So here's something interesting. Yeah, within Bukhari, Kalam, watch this. This one's special. Watch this. So within Bukhari, it says, narrated the last word. In the presence of Aisha, some people mentioned that the Prophet had appointed Ali by will as his successor. Okay, so there's a discussion about it. People are talking about something. So you only talk about something if something's in the air. Aisha said, when did he appoint him by will? Verily, when he died, he was resting against my chest, or said in my lap. And he asked for a wash basin and then collapsed whilst in that state. And I could not even perceive that he had died. So when did he appoint him by will? Now the point is two questions here. She's being asked that, did the Prophet appoint Imam Ali by will? So there's clearly a dispute about it.
No. It was mentioned to her that the Prophet did appoint Ali by will.
Yeah, so it was mentioned to her. It mentioned in front of her. Yeah, he's right. Correction. It was mentioned in front of her that it was mentioned in front of her that Prophet mentioned Imam Ali as a successor by will. She straight away clarified, how can that happen when he died literally within seconds while he was with me? The point is 2 points here. First of all, there's narrations within Sunni books that actually say that he died on Imam Ali's lap. So it's a clear contradiction that he passed away in Imam Ali's lap. So it's a clear contradiction about what Aisha said there. Number two is that why is it that people are saying that the Prophet appointed Imam Ali by will if nothing like that existed? You only discuss something if something exists. And yet you see here, straight away as the Prophet passes away, the will is being discussed. So clearly something was said. Third point. The narration where the brother Hani mentioned about a narration where he said that, yeah, you know, the Prophet could have still said it. I agree. Even if we agree that the will wasn't written, like said Ali rightfully clarified in our books, it does mention that the will was written later with Imam Ali and the Prophet. Let's say, for argument's sake, we say it wasn't written. The third argument is that when it says the Prophet said, do these two things, the third thing is missing. Do these three things, the third thing is missing. So if two things are mentioned, the third thing is mentioned, we could easily argue that what was that third thing? And then I've linked it to the narration of Aisha, where Aisha is denying that anything was said. So clearly,
and just to add as well, so I just want to make a point as well. The brother Hani mentioned as well. He said, look, there's a tradition in Bukhari. I think he mentioned Bukhari that says that Ibn Abbas approached Umar and he said this, and obviously he would have understood this, the whole situation, the circumstances around the incident better than any of us. And he's saying that, look, you know, you're victor, you know, you enjoyed. Well, apparently, you know, Ibn Abbas is praising him, apparently in this tradition. But again, what the brother Hani needs to understand is, we don't consider your books to be evidence on us. Do you understand? These are evidence for you. Just like the way when you discuss, Christianity with a Christian, you'd quote them the Bible. It doesn't necessarily mean as a Muslim that you believe everything in the Bible to be authentic, right? So again, quoting this narration to me is kind of pointless, or quoting it to Shias is pointless, because for us, we can show you many contradictions on this incident, which I've not even discussed today. I've not even gone into those contradictions.
All right, say that. Let's keep it moving. Next questions. Brothers are on the panel. Kalam, let's get it moving.
All right. So again, let me just get a quick roundup of that particular answer. So the brother did ask the question about Umar, Ibn Abbas was saying that Muhammad was pleased with Umar. Are we saying that that particular narration, does it exist? And if it does exist, it doesn't actually it doesn't, it has no bearing upon you itself, because you say that it's made up.
Very good question. I can show you a different narration where another companion says that Allah's messenger died, passed away, displeased with a certain group of Sahaba as well. And it also included individuals like Umar. But again, for us, these are conflicting reports. I showed you previously in our previous show, Imam Ali alayhi salam held the position that, Abu Bakr to be a dishonest, sinful, treacherous liar. And he considered Umar to be a sinful, dishonest, treacherous liar.
Before you do that, is there any narration in the Sunni hadith collections that they will accept that says something or points or indicates to that at all?
Yes, of course. It's in Sahih Muslim. I quoted it in the last show for those who have not watched it. Why would Imam Ali alayhi salam hold this position if these alleged virtues were true? And again, why did we not hear about these virtues during the time of appointment? Abu Bakr could have said, listen, Umar, you come forward, you hold a certain position. Umar could have said, Abu Bakr, look, etc., etc. But again, we're not talking about the contradiction of those narrations, because I can assure you, if we want to do a whole show about the contradictions about the incident of the pen and paper alone, we will see that Ibn Abbas was not the only individual person to narrate it.
At the end of the day, we're trying to say, look, be just in it. Be just in the matter, in it. You see kind of what we're trying to say? We're trying to say, be just in the matter. Regardless if you want to, even if you take Umar as a Khalifa or you respect him after that, at least be just in to say he was wrong. At least come to that level and say, you know what? That wasn't the right etiquette. You should have kept with the Prophet. Coffee, at least say that much to us. And we're happy. Let's move.
Perfect. All right. Let me get my brother Carl. Carl, I know that's not most probably your actual name, but it's your name appearing on the screen. If you are present with us, please unmute your mic. If not, I'm going to pass it over to the next person. Okay. So, Abu, if you are present, just unmute your mic.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Okay, excellent. And please, I'm going to ask you if you've got a commentary, just one comment and one question.
Okay, great. I agree with what Raza said at the end. We actually do hold the position that Umar was wrong. We don't hold the belief that he was right in holding the position that the will should not be written. But we see it, we take the narration, the apparent meaning, which is that Umar said that the Prophet ﷺ is in a lot of pain, as you guys have quoted. I think it's problematic and unfair to quote secondary sources, ones that just passed away 100 years ago, and some even less. Salabi is still alive. Shibli Nu'mani died 100 years ago. That's not accurate, ya Sayyid Ali. You should know better than that. Quoting al-Bukhari and Muslim, that's perfectly fine. And Umar, yes, Umar never says the Prophet ﷺ is delirious. We don't know who said that the Prophet ﷺ was delirious, or if he asked, is he delirious? And if you go through Bukhari and Muslim, I think there's 4 or 5 narrations that quote it as a question. A hajara. Is he delirious? It's just a question. So that's one thing. The second the question that I have, I wish I had all the time. I wish I had 10 minutes, because I could go through the whole thing and just refute it easily. In any case, what the brothers were saying was that Ibn Abbas's reaction is something I'd really like to focus on. Sayyid Ali says that the will was for the 12 imams. If it was for the 12 imams, or if it was the name of Ali, Ibn Abbas's reaction refutes that, because Ibn Abbas, who was the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, who was the cousin of Ali, had no clue what was going on. He was crying, and he had no idea what the will entailed. And remember, he was the representative of Ali in al-Basra. He was the Emir of al-Basra during Ali's rule. Why didn't Ali go to Ibn Abbas and say, hey, by the way, that was me. That was me. I was the person, the will that was spoken of. How come Ibn Abbas is crying and he's sobbing, and he's like the closest person to Ali, and he had no idea what the Prophet ﷺ was going to write. So yeah, that's my question. I have a brief comment after I get a response from the brothers, if you don't mind, Kalam.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for your commentary afterwards. Let me just see what the brothers have to say. Go ahead, brothers. Could you answer that question?
You know what? With all due respect, and I don't mean to offend the brother, but to be honest with you, we covered all those points already. We already covered the two groups of people, right? The tradition from Say Muslim, which states one group wanted the Prophet to write something, and another group who obviously accused him, the peace and blessings be upon him and his family, of being delirious. And Umar belonged to that camp. Okay, you know, if it was something which is a simple matter of question, oh, are you delirious? I mean, it's even an insult to even utter these words, you know, to accuse the Prophet of such a thing. Are you delirious? But we can see a group was referring to him as delirious, and this is why he became angry, and this is why he asked him to go away. Okay, he understood the context best. The Messenger of Allah, may peace and blessings be upon him, understood the context best. If it was something they were merely concerned about, he would be like, no, it's fine, guys, I'm okay, I'm all right. But no, he became angry. Okay, and he asked him to leave his place. Raza, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just a quick thing. The brother, you know what, he was fair in what he said in the beginning in terms of what he said. Like, look, we agree he was wrong in you know, not I think, you know, letting him write the will. You see, the issue here is when we say wrong, there's two angles we're looking at it. We're not only looking at it from the stopping of the will. Obviously, stopping of the will is just completely outright wrong, but we're looking at it from the angle of the disrespect angle as well, and also the angle of hiding something. So the angle of saying delirious, where I think the brother I think he's probably well read enough to know that I think the scholars, because we obviously didn't go too deep into it today, but I think the brother knows that if you go into it, the scholars have clearly identified that individual who called the Prophet delirious as Umar. As in, I don't think there's no doubt about that right now. And if someone wants to go deep into that, all they need to do some research and they'll find out. Like I said, the overcome by pain, there's narrations that say that, but there's also narrations that say delirious. If you want to choose one, no problem. But the delirious narrations are there, and it is clear Umar said it. Number two, one of the major Salafi scholars, Ibn Uthaymin, he basically mentions that Umar was right. So he doesn't mention that he was wrong. So the brother has a fair stance on it. So I'll give him that he said he was wrong. But I don't know if he's trying to say if he's wrong for just, you know, stopping it and he's overcome by pain. Because that's
I think the brother's kind of, with all due respect, I think the brothers actually proved Sunnism to be false by admitting the actions of Umar were wrong. Because you have to remember that at the day, as part of the principal belief of Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, is that all the Sahaba were just and truthful people, right?
No, but if he's saying
they were not capable of attributing a lie to the Prophet.
If he's saying this, that they're wrong and he's wrong, it's fine. But I think obviously from his own scholars, it's a nice position to have. But at the same time, he is saying, oh, he was just wrong for this. So I think he's watered it down a little bit. The clear issue is the delirious issue. I mean,
I just want to. I just want to show a reference quickly, and I don't want to share on on the screen. If you want me to, I can. I'll be more than happy to. And this is from Ibn Athir's book. It's called Al-Nihaya fi Gharib al-Hadith. And Ibn Athir says, in the narration of the illness of Allah's apostle, they said, what's wrong with him? Has he lost his consciousness? Ask him. It means that is the Prophet talking nonsense because of his illness? They wanted to know, and it means that he is delirious because of his illness. This is the best way to interpret the narration, and it should not be said as a declarative sentence, because it means either talking nonsense or delirious. And the person who said that is who? None other than Umar. And this is not an accusation made against him. Rather, it's a fact. And this is Al-Nihaya fi Gharib al-Hadith, volume 5, page number 246, and the author is Ibn Athir. So
Ibn Athir is a master of the biographies of the companions for the Muslims and the non-Muslim viewers. He's actually a master. He's basically the first authority you refer to when you refer to the biographical works of the Sahaba. He's written a book called Asd al-Ghaba, or how do you say that? Usd al-Ghaba. Usd al-Ghaba, I always make that mistake. Usd al-Ghaba, where he clarifies all the companions' biographies. So him quoting that reference is clear, and hopefully a nail on that head of that coffin. So now, any other questions, brothers?
Yeah, I think if you got any other questions,
may I comment? May I comment on that, please?
Yep.
You did say
You can comment in 1 second. You know the word that's been used for delirious. What is that word called?
Yahjur.
Say it.
Yahjur. If you go to the Quran now, I can show you the verse. Give me a second. If you open up the verse, sorry, give me a sec. Open up the verse for you.
As we're waiting right now, Abu, could you just give us your comment that you had?
Yeah, just a quick minor correction to Raza. He said that Ibn Athir wrote the book Usd al-Ghaba. That's incorrect. Usd al-Ghaba is written by Izz al-Din Ibn Hassan Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Athir, and al-Nihaya is by Majd al-Din Abi Sa'adat al-Mubarak ibn Muhammad ibn Athir. So there's two different Ibn Athirs. You should check that up, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish that the brothers would have focused on my main question, which was why Ibn Abbas was, reacting that way instead of focusing on this other issue for Umar. I was hoping to get an answer on that. Please go ahead, brothers.
Sorry, Kalam, I just want to show you the verse. So if you go to verse 2367, you can bring it up on the screen. So it says, in arrogance regarding it, conversing it by night, speaking evil. You can see the word yahjur, yahjurun, is they've mentioned it as speaking evil. Okay, because obviously this verse, this particular word, it has many meanings, and it's used and it's understood according to the context it's said in. Okay, because it can also mean to depart or to leave. But here you can see the word yahjur is being translated to mean all the meanings generally are something negative anyway, but we made it clear that the word yahjur is delirious. And Ibn Athir, the scholar, I thank you for the brother for correcting brother Raza on that as well, because I was going to mention it's not the same Ibn Athir, but nevertheless, the word yahjur means delirious.
So is that the same word as this over here? Real quickly. I'm just in the Lane's lexicon right now, and it says here that a sick man having the disease termed here or having a fever said here. Let's see, and one sleeping says here talked nonsense. So talking nonsense, basically talking irrationally or foolishly or deliriously and confusedly, signifies the talking much and saying that is evil. That's basically
that's what they were accusing the Prophet of. May peace and blessings be upon him.
Okay.
This is why we reject Abdallah Sahaba. This is why we don't accept all the companions were just and truthful people. We've got people
like I said, we'll keep saying until the end. The Prophet kept saying, "I'm in a better state than you accuse me of. Get out." So the Prophet kept refuting them. Give me. So every time someone says something, I'll say the Prophet refuted them.
Jeez. All right.
Sorry, what was the brother's question? I don't know if you responded to the brother's question. He asked a question.
No, not at all. Yeah. The question was,
Brother Abdullah, just a really quick, because this has been brought up more than once.
Hold on, my brother.
At the end of the hadith.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Apologies, but you can't speak right now, my brother. Just wait your turn.
Yeah, but
you'll get your chance. Don't worry about it. You get your chance. Let me get Abdallah to just really reiterate that if you feel as though your question wasn't actually.
Oh yeah, it wasn't addressed at all. The question was, why was Ibn Abbas crying? Right, he was crying because he did not know what the Prophet ﷺ wanted to write down, and the brothers are saying that it was the appointment of Ali ibn Abi Talib, or according to Sayyid Ali, it was the appointment of all 12. If that's the case, then that disproves the Imam of Ali. It disproves the Imam of all 12 Imams, because Ibn Abbas was one of the closest people to Ali, and Ibn Abbas was the representative of Ali.
Abu, can I just get your question? Can I get your question? One line question, please.
Okay, so the question would be, don't you think that Ibn Abbas's reaction disproves the Imam of Ali, since he was so close to Ali and yet he had no idea?
Excellent, thank you very much. So Raza or Said Ali, who wants to address this?
Yeah, quick aspect to that. You see, what's interesting on that is that their own scholars of Ahl Sunnah, and I think the brother's quite well read. Thank you for telling me about that point. That was a good point. Thanks for telling me about that, about the Ibn Athir part. The brother's clearly well read, so he'll know this, that a lot of the scholars that have done Shara, that have done commentaries on that hadith, have actually written, from the Sunni scholars that have written, that this was because the Prophet was going to say his successors. That we're giving is not far-fetched, because his own scholars have said that as well. So it's not something that's far-fetched. In regards to his other point about Ibn Abbas, there's actually a very interesting narration in he wrote a Shara of Najm Balagha. Now I realize that Mu'tazili scholar is Shia, but obviously clearly him being Mu'tazili defeats him being Shia. I think the brother will potentially know that as well. Is that he records a narration in there of Umar actually discussing the same wasiyah with Ibn Abbas. And Umar actually says to Ibn Abbas, the reason I stopped it happening is because the Prophet was going to appoint Ali. So Umar actually admits that to Ibn Abbas in that book. So I hope that answers the question.
Whew, my brother, you just dropped.
Kalam, just want to reiterate something as well.
Hold on, Said Ali. You just dropped something that was kind of major there. Please, if you have the the picture or the post or the link where we can actually see that, okay, that's going to be a major blow still. That's going to be a major blow. So if you've got a chance today or another time, please bring that information up so the audience can see it. Said Ali, go ahead, King.
So yeah, I mean, the thing is, as far as we're concerned, we believe that the incident of Qadi, the last farewell Hajj of the Prophet, was when he ordered his Ummah to follow the Quran and his Ahlul Bayt, okay? And he said, look, the Ummah will never go astray if they adhere to these two things. Because the Prophet now on his deathbed, okay, he was going, as far as we're concerned, he was going to reiterate the same statement. Unless you don't believe that if you follow Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, you're not going to go astray. I mean, are you going to, for us, that the interpretation we take is obviously when he was on his deathbed, he was going to reiterate the same statement, okay? Why did Ibn Abbas cry?
I think what Sayyid Ali made a point.
Ibn Abbas cried because the Prophet's will was not written out. That's why he was crying.
It's nothing to do with the aspect of Imam not being mentioned, because like we said in last week's lecture, Kalam, mentioned, this is the Prophet now stamping it even clearer. Because we don't say the Prophet, it all rests on this. We say the Prophet had already said it. Now writing it for you to make it clear. So,
but again, Kalam, as I said to you, the point, as far as we're concerned, in our books, it mentioned the will was written out. Okay, right? According to their books, there's mention of it that the Prophet was gonna nominate a successor, which I showed. Then you've got other narrators who saying that Ibn Abbas may have forgotten. Then you've got other ones saying the sub-narrator forgot what the third one was.
Then you got Aisha saying that
then
never
happened. Aisha saying that during her time, people, so it wasn't Shias, it wasn't us guys who came during the time of Aisha and told her there was talk about this will. But as far as we're concerned, we don't accept the testimony of Aisha anyway. But it makes you think that even she acknowledges the fact that there was a will, and this will was talked about the nomination of Imam Ali alayhi salam.
All right, cool. Next, let's keep it moving.
Excellent. All right.
I'd just like to thank Titans. I'd like to thank Kalam. It's nice to have this academic scene in which we could discuss these ideas. I do feel it's kind of unfair that the brothers have 30 more times the amount of time to share their points, but I still do thank Kalam and Titans TV. And it was much better than last week. I mean, last week it was getting kind of emotional with people tossing around defamations, people being terrorists and whatnot. I mean, that's kind of childish. But yeah, basically, I'd like to thank everyone for everything.
Excellent.
Kalam, just a quick point there, Kalam. Just a quick point, just to brother. In terms of in regards to what you were saying about the academia of the show and stuff, and after obviously no doubt salute to Titans all day for that, because you do keep it real like that, and you do keep a nice moderation there. In terms of what the brother was saying about academia and stuff, it is very important that we keep to that, regardless if it's from one side and someone says about terrorism. I actually agree with that. I actually agree with that point. It's a fair point. I was even discussing that earlier. I was like, what, because the brother made a point about potentially the Brother Shimrani. If the brother is very adamant, Brother Shimrani mentioning that, look, this is nothing to do with me and I'm not related to terrorism, brother, you know what? I watched this video and I'll take it from him. Because you know what? He's probably got a family. He's probably got children. It's not really a nice thing to say if someone's very adamant that he's saying it's not. So you know what? I'm willing to take that back. It's not an issue like that. Yeah. However, what I will say, we should be consistent on the point. To mocking, we shouldn't be mocking people where unfortunately Shamrani is quite known to do that as well. So we've got to be fair on the principle. Yeah.
Yeah, but just even if I put the terrorist incident aside after watching his video, I can hopefully retract that statement. That he has affiliations with a channel called Anti-Majus, which is a anti-Shia, very anti-Shia, very disrespectful channel. And it's just my personal opinion, my personal perspective that I don't want to have dialogues with these kind of individuals. It's my personal opinion.
Brother Abdullah is very respectful. I like him.
You are.
Just a quick question though, brother, is that your real name though? Because I feel like you threw us off there. Given I thought you were Shia. You know those ones. Tell us, is that your real name?
Oh, Abu Abdullah is a very common kunya, Habibi.
Okay, Habibi, what's your real name, Habibi?
Maybe we'll leave that for another time.
Inshallah.
I think we'll back it up for now, Kalam.
Sorry, family. One second, family.
I think inshallah we'll have another conversation, perhaps maybe on this topic or something else. But I think for now, I think we've given views.
We've got one more individual.
Let's go on, Kalam. Carry on.
We've got one more individual that hasn't actually had their say so far. So
no problem, bro.
Let me make sure that he has his say as well. And also, family, Talk of the Titans is literally here to facilitate, our audience members and our Titans. Okay, we're here to make sure that the two groups of individuals have a place where we can actually interface. That means that we have our Titans. So far we have our Shia Titans on so far, who's actually presenting the information. Okay, and we have this ability where we can actually have an interface where we can get our audience members in on the panel to actually comment on the things that they're saying, question the things that they're saying, and critique the things that they're saying. This is such a beautiful platform for such things to occur. Now, secondly to that, we are actually open and we are free for Sunni brothers to come onto the platform. We're open and free from people from other denominations, from other sects, and from other religious or non-religious backgrounds to actually come onto the show and present their information, and for everybody else to actually have the opportunity to critique and listen to what everybody else has to say. So again, I'm going to extend with open arms an invite to anybody else who feels as though that if they feel as though they're being misrepresented or underrepresented, to come onto the platform to actually have their say. You are more than welcome. As we had our Wahhabi brother come in earlier on, you're more than welcome. If you feel as though you want to present a show on Wahhabism, you're fully welcome to come on to present a show on Wahhabism. Over here at Talk with the Titans, we give our Titans, I'm going to utilize the word Titans, the opportunity to present the information, and then the latter half of the show, we have the ability for our audience members to come in and critique that information. Is how our shows are actually structured. Okay, so let's get it in. We've got Ziryab, who is yet to actually ask a question. Then I want to take a few questions from our audience members as well, because they haven't actually had an opportunity to ask any questions. So if you guys in the audience have any questions right now, Titans TV and ask your questions. Okay, all right, Ziryab, please.
Peace.
Ask your question, King. Peace.
I'd like to take the prerogative and yield my time to Brother Hani. He had a point to make.
Jeez, how noble of you. I like that. Y'all smart as hell. Y'all smart as hell. I love that. All right, okay. I'm gonna actually respect that. So, Brother Hani, please come on. Tag everybody else who's on the comment section, okay? Please tag Titans TV. Don't tag Kalam, tag Titans TV so it can appear to it will come up orange or bold to let me know that you actually want to ask a question. So I'm only gonna take about questions from the audience, okay? So if you got a question, ask them right now by tagging Titans TV. Let's get it. All right, go ahead, King. Hani.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to verify that with you guys that there is seems to be a double standard that was just used. The Shi'i brother quoted Ibn Abi al-Hadid, who is obviously, yes, a Mu'tazili. So he quoted a Mu'tazili who is not a Sunni, who came 600 years after the events unfolded and narrated something without a chain of narrators. And he used it as an argument. Yet when I presented Ibn Abbas's hadith from Bukhari, where he praises Umar al-Khattab, this was rejected, and I was told that the sources cannot be used against another sect. okay, because it's from another sect. So Ibn Abil Hadid is not from our sect, so it's a double standard to use him against us, and you have just done that. That's the first thing. Second of all, there seems to be a mistranslation, maybe due to the brother's weakness in Arabic. You guys keep repeating something that the Prophet told the Sahaba that oh, you accused me of something, or whoever said Yahjur, that the Prophet told them, you are accusing me of something. That was never said by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The hadith in Arabic says, "Da'uni falladhi ana fihi khayrun mimma tad'unani ilayh," which simply translates to, what I am heading towards is much better than what you are calling me to. This is because a group of Sahaba were telling him to rest, and the Prophet knew that he was promised heaven and he was going to pass away and go to heaven, and he would prefer to meet his Lord. So for him, he was not accepting their call because he knew his time was up and he was going to pass away. So this is what the statement "Da'uni falladhi ana fihi khayrun mimma tad'unani ilayh" is not translated as accusation or anything else. As for the last comment about Aisha and speaking about the wasiyah, this is because Aisha lived in the time where Abdallah ibn Saba was active, and Abdullah ibn Saba was the first person to spread the belief that Ali is a divinely appointed imam. And therefore this spread among the people of Kufa, and some people came and asked Aisha, is it true that the Prophet appointed Ali as a divine imam or anything of the sort? And she told them, no, this is not true, and I don't know where you got it from. So that's as simple as that. Not that the Prophet actually appointed him, and she was discussing the appointment. Lastly, we have proven that what Umar said was not incorrect. His stance was incorrect, but not his statement that the Quran is enough. Because the Quran being sufficient, again, is a narration from the Prophet ﷺ, as narrated in the Sahih by Jabir Abdullah, by Ali ibn Abi Talib in Nahj al-Balagha, the first sermon, and by Abu Shuraih al-Khuzai. And so the Prophet, when he corrected them, he didn't correct them and say, oh, wait a minute, you people are wrong because you can't say the Quran is not enough. He corrected them and say, لا ينبغي التنازع. It is not just that you quarrel in front of me. So the issue for the Prophet was not that Umar said the Quran is sufficient. The issue was the quarreling. And the hadith
proper
says,
adab.
Yes. Quarreling in itself is rude. But I can understand that it was emotional, even though they were wrong. But it was emotional at the time. The Prophet was passing away. So you understand that. So the hadith says, فَاخْتَصَمَ أَهْلُ الْبَيْتِ. Okay? So that, which means in Arabic, اختلف أهل البيت واختصموا, meaning the people of the household differed and quarreled. Meaning all of them differed and quarreled, meaning both sides raised their voices. That's assuming they raised their voices, which I'm assuming. As for you saying that Umar raised his voice, there's absolutely no evidence in the hadith that Umar raised his voice. Umar simply said, the book of Allah is enough. We don't know whether he raised his voice or didn't raise his voice. So you then making that accusation based on nothing is you basically accusing someone of something which you claim is kufr without evidence. Otherwise, show us a hadith where it clearly says, and Umar raised his voice while he was saying that. And that is not there. He never raised it. So the Prophet told all of them to get out of the room. According to the authentic hadith, he told everybody to get out because he was upset that they quarreled. He doesn't want to see his nation quarreling in front of him before his passing. So that's all I have to say. And I need to actually leave right now. So Jazakum Allah khair, and thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you. Do you know what? The brother's done some serious gymnastics with the, like some somersaults and flying kicks and all sorts. Okay. If you notice, in his later part of his points he made, he said, yeah, but the Prophet eventually, it wasn't befitting to quarrel in front of the Prophet, so he asked him to get out. But then earlier he mentioned, well, the Prophet said, look, I'm in a better state than you are. So meaning that I'm going somewhere, as in, if I'm departing, if I'm leaving the earth, I'm going to be in a better place than you are. Hold on a second. A group of people are calling the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him, delirious. They are quarreling in front of him. He's asking them to leave. Okay? He is asking them to leave. He knew fully well in what context these words were mentioned. Okay? So I don't know, the brother was doing some sort of gymnastics there. He made many points. To be honest with you, I regret not taking a pen and paper myself and writing these points down. Yeah? Okay. So anyway, coming back to the other point, he mentioned about Ibn Sabah. He said apparently this was some sort of I'd like him to present. I don't know if I have time or not. I'd like him to present the evidence that these were people who were followers of Ibn Sabah who brought this dispute up. And lastly, he said that the people of the household disputed. Again, he's being a bit dishonest here, because if he reads Ibn Hajar Asqalani's Sharh of Sahih Bukhari, Fath al-Bari, he says the people who disputed in the household, this was not the Ahlul Bayt al-Islam, rather it was the Sahaba. And this is from Ibn Hajar Asqalani, okay, in his Sharh of Bukhari, Fath al-Bari. He says the people who disputed in the house were, you know, his were the Sahaba. I mean, come on, are we suggesting here that when the Prophet said get out, he was telling the Ahlul Bayt, meaning he was telling his wives like Aisha and that, to get out of his house? Come on, we need to use some sort of rationality, because you believe Ahlul Bayt includes the wives, right? So the Prophet said to his wives, you get out
Did
of the
the
house.
Shia just admit that Aisha is from the Ahlul Bayt?
No, no, brother. What I'm saying to you, if you want to take your interpretation, that the Prophet said that get out of the house, and he told the people of the house to get out, including his family members, are we saying that he's telling Aisha and the rest of the wives to get out as well? Come on, we need to be a bit logical here. And let's not be.
Just last final point. I said Ali said a lot enough. Just a quick question. You know, the brother's right in terms of just one quick narration. You know about the narration I presented of Aisha and the will. The thing is, that narration actually says, and the brother's Arabic's obviously better than mine, so he'll know better than me. The narration actually says that people mentioned it in front of Aisha, not that they asked her. Yeah. So they mentioned it in front of her, and then she refuted them and said, no, this is not the case. So they weren't even talking to her. Yeah. So it was quite a common thing that they were talking. She happened to be there. They never actually asked her that question.
Neither did they question her about it as well. They made a statement saying that Ali was selected as the Khalifa. They did not ask her as the Khalifa, and it wasn't asked to her. It was mentioned in her presence.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Same thing. Same thing.
It's not,
I don't. One second to answer. 1 second to answer.
You use the Arabic thing, isn't it? So obviously, yeah. I think in that aspect, maybe you were wrong in that.
I'm saying, just to let you know, I'm speaking only from memory. I don't have any of these texts in front of me nor a computer. So, anyways, let me just continue. It doesn't change my point. My point is, where did they get it from? They got it because it was being circulated by a time by a group of deviants. That is my belief.
You have to.
Okay. Now you've asked me. You asked me about evidence. I don't need any more evidence than to prove that this sect existed at the time, and the sect, according to all historians, existed at the time. Therefore, it's not strange that people of that sect would have promoted that belief. It doesn't have to be the two individuals. The two individuals might have been Wahhabi, as far as you know, but they were just mentioning.
Okay, they
happened to mention, and she refuted them.
Okay, can you prove, for example, that these people came and mentioned this in front of her? Was one the people of Abdullah ibn Sabah?
I asked that already. I've asked that question. Yeah, I've asked the evidence.
Does Abdullah ibn
I will answer.
According to them, like
okay, let me answer you. Let me answer you.
Okay, let me get you lot to pause for a hot second. Unfortunately, it seems as though we're having some technical difficulties over my side, and I don't actually want this show to cut off whilst you're speaking. Unfortunately, this is what actually happens. I'm actually tethering the connection now. Something has happened. So unfortunately, I don't want you lot to continue just yet. Again, family, if you guys have I've sent you over the link to the show, and you would like to come in right now, because the show is about to close down in the next 2 minutes. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left on the show. So everybody who I've sent the link to, please join in right now so you can actually have an after show discussion with my Shia brothers. Okay, so please join the link. Now we have over 240 people tuned in right now, and we've only got 108 likes. Okay, family, if you are here to support Titans TV, hit the like button right now. Okay, and also once this is finished, please hit the share button. Share it, share this link. This has been a very a very informative show, to say the least. And I definitely want to make sure that more of our family members actually get the opportunity to see this show. I know it's going on for quite some time, over 2 hours, borderlining 3 hours, but please encourage other people to actually sit down and view the show, because there has been some gems that have been disseminated. So, family, I'm going to give you another minute and a half to get it all in. So please speak as fast as possible, because we need to close down the show. Love.
Yeah, so I think it was was it Brother Hani who was about to respond to
Yeah, it was Brother Hani.
them being that them lot were followers of Abdullah bin Sabah who mentioned in front of Aisha?
Yeah. So the response to that is that this belief existed at the time. So therefore, you can't make the argument that they're necessarily saying it because the Prophet preached it. It could be they're simply saying it because they heard some of the followers of Ibn Saba say it.
You need to prove it, though, innit?
That is it. You don't need to do more than that.
You need to prove that, innit, brother? You need to prove that, innit? You can't just say something.
It's by consensus of all historians that the sect of Saba'iyya existed at the time, and they believe that Ali is the Imam.
Brother,
And therefore, by consensus of all historians, somebody must have heard something. They mentioned it in front of her. She responded.
Can I just make a point, Raza? Can you show us where
which is
Ibn Sabah believed that Wasiya was written in the name of Ali from any of the books, please?
And can you show?
I don't have the sources on me, but this is very common. So it's very easy.
Fine. I understand your point. I understand.
Like this takes you a really short googling to find out that Abdullah ibn Saba believed that the wasiyah was made.
Bro, please understand the point I'm making to you. I'm saying to you, saying that a group of Sabites believed a wasiyah was written in the name of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Okay, fine. Let's just say a group existed called the Sabites, right? Can you show me anywhere where they held the belief that a wasiyah was written?
Let me try to remember. Off the top of my head, I would say by no Bakhtin al-Qummi, you have maybe he mentions that Abdullah ibn Saba believed that Ali is the wasi of Muhammad the same way that Yusha ibn Nun was the wasi of Musa, and that every Nabi has a wasi after him. So this is a belief that he spread. And this is mentioned in so many history books that I'm surprised that you're asking me for.
That's not my question.
You know the crux. You know the crux of the issue. You're gonna say that. You're gonna ask. You wanna ask.
Look, brother. Look, at the end of the day, we're not talking about in terms of nomination, because if you want to talk about Sahaba who turned Rafidi and rejected Abu Bakr and Umar, then we could go to Abu Tafal, and your own scholars believed that he believed Imam Ali alayhi salam to be the Usiya and the successor of the prophets. According to the narration in Musannaf, Imam Hassan alayhi salam, according to Sahih traditions, said that his father was the wasi and the Usiya of the prophets, and narrated by Abu Tafal. But again, we're not talking about the nomination in terms of divine designation, about Ibn Sabah maybe professing this belief. I'm asking you a specific question. I'm asking you, where did the Sabites believe that a will was written in the name of Ali, that a group of people had to go ask Aisha? Please listen to my question.
Does the narration say awsa ilayhi? Does it say in Arabic awsa ilayhi? If that's the case, then they're not necessarily talking about a will that is written. He could make a wasiyah shafahiyan, meaning oral will. You could just tell him.
So the whole argument was about something else. Now you're saying it's not even about a will. So the beginning, you said Abdullah bin Sabah, and I understood where you're coming. Now suddenly you're saying it's not talking about a will.
Yeah, no, it is a will, but the will can be written or oral. It doesn't have to be a written will. You guys are asking about the written will. I'm saying it doesn't. They don't have to believe that it is written. No, it could be that the Prophet just mentioned.
I see where you're coming from, but it's just one.
I can see. That's fine, no problem. But the fact of the matter is, obviously, again, you know, I think it's a bit unfair for Kalam as well, because we've actually gone into quite a bit of length of time now.
I want to make this final point. I want to make
one quick point, and you could, Raza, you could finish this off as well. And inshallah, brother, please do join us in the next show.
Right, say
even for Aisha, for us, obviously, you know our position about Aisha. We don't really consider her to be a trustworthy individual anyway. So yeah, I was see, you know, somebody asked her a question: was a will given to the Prophet? And you know, as far as we're concerned, we will say that, you know, clearly she's a liar, and we can prove in other occasions where, you know, unfortunately she lied and she attributed things, you know, even worse than being delirious and all sorts. But anyway, I'll pass on to you.
Just a quick question, Bob. You know what it is? The main thing, what I'm trying to say is, we're obviously discussing a whole aspect of Wasiya and the Prophet leaving something, and the Aisha not mentioning Ibn Abbas not mentioning the third point, etc., etc. Now, based on that context, what we're asking is, if the people in front of Aisha in arm, because Aisha was from where? Medina, right? So on an arm basis, right after the Prophet passed away, we know they've literally have come to her and they've mentioned it in front of her. If you're gonna say Abdullah bin Sabah and use that, my point to you will be, you can't just say that without bringing any evidence. You can't just say, well, prove otherwise. You've made the claim. You've got to prove that those people were trying to say they had affiliations with Abdullah bin Sabah, and I don't think no classical scholar has actually said that in the commentary of that hadith.
Yeah, but it does not, to prove my point, I do not require to prove that they're Saba'is. I require only to prove that such a rumor or such a, a statement was being circulated, and that it simply reached Aisha and she denied it.
Yeah, but that's all done. You're not really quoting
Maybe, because the hadith is not explicit and it's not clear. The whole thing is done. You guys are making conclusions in the first place. You guys are saying, oh, that means that it was popular and it was being circulated and it was being. So you are the guys who are making done in the first place.
Exactly.
I'm just responding.
No, but the thing is, obviously, we have a position on this, isn't it? Where our school is obviously we have our own narrations from our own books on this. But in regards to your book,
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt you guys. I think we need to conclude because it's gone quite some time. I'm sure there's plenty of people watching, and it's not fair for Kalam as well. We could probably be here all night discussing this all week, all year.
I like it though. I like it.
I just want to say respect to Brother Hani. He's been extremely respectful and patient.
Abdul, man, you never gave no question, man. You was
Abdul, mashallah, he's very learned brother as well, mashallah. And again, he's been very respectful. I think it's good. We had a very healthy discussion today. I just want to finish off with a verse from the Holy Quran, and this is from Surah 465, and it says, "But know by your Lord, they will not truly believe until they make you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a judge concerning that over which they dispute among themselves, and then find within themselves no discomfort from what you have judged and submitted in full willing submission." Kalam, we can't hear you. Your mic's done. Kalam's mic is there seems to be a problem with his mic.
Yeah, just a quick, again, again, like we could go back to back all night, but the claim that Abdullah bin Sabah is by ijma, is by everyone agreed upon. Again, big claims, man, big claims. Are the historians claim that? Is there a consensus of Abdullah bin Sabah and the kind of beliefs that you attribute to him, or again, what type of Abdullah bin Sabah are we talking about?
It's in the Sahih Hadith of Rijal al-Najashi. It's in your books that the man existed and he was preaching extremist beliefs.
That doesn't mean there's ijma on it. That's just Rijal al-Najashi.
I don't know anybody who denied it. Show me someone who historically, in the past 1,000 years, has denied that Abdullah ibn Sabah existed. I can show you. I can give you a list, and the lists are on Google. But but no, as someone denying that he existed, I have not seen anybody deny his existence until
the guy that attributed divinity. Are we talking about the Abdullah? Because there's different views in Abdullah bin Sabah, and you know this better than me. Which guy?
Family. I love these types of discussions. Unfortunately, we cannot continue. Okay, we cannot continue. My system is having a shutdown right about now. I literally have to call in via my phone to continue this conversation with you guys. I'm not too sure what's going on. I told you I'm beefing with Virgin. Virgin is not treating me right. Spending all this money and they don't actually want to show you any love by keeping up the network to the extent that it needs to be kept up with. So family, if you actually do like to donate to Titans TV, literally there's a super chat button literally and on the chat section down below. Please hit the donate button if you feel as though you would love to donate. Also, we are actually planning to go over to New York. And, we are nominated for a Sarnetta TV Awards for Best International Channel. So please support us. If you could support us monetarily for going over there, please check out the GoFundMe link. It is on Black Eyes TV and HKTH. They have something going on. Please donate there as well for the rest of the family from the UK to make it over to the US. And if you could donate on my channel, that would be splendid as well. But family, this has been absolutely wonderful. Okay, it's been wonderful. We're going to continue the conversation off air. We're going to continue having these dialogues off air. Yes, we are. I'm talking about literally right after this. So I posted the link, okay, the link for you to join in. Literally, as soon as we close out the show, just hit the link and you should be able to come in. We are only allowed another 3 or 4 more individuals to participate. So click the link and tune in. Of course, next week, inshallah, let me say inshallah, next week, I want part 3. Okay, I want to do a series on my Shia brothers' claims. So if we can do a part 3 next week, Wednesday, that would be amazing.
About the part 3, inshallah, we're definitely going to do that. Just a quick correction, because it is important to make these corrections. I think the brother mentioned Najashi. I don't think Najashi really mentions hadith. I think he might have been talking about Rijal al-Kishi. In regards to that, maybe the narration that he mentioned, I think it's in Rijal al-Kishi, not Najashi, because I don't think Najashi really deals with hadith in his book on Rijal. So just a quick clarification on that. Carry on.
All right, beautiful. So, family, let me know if you are going to be free next week, okay, to get the next installment of what my Shia brothers have to actually say. And my Shia brothers, do you know what the next installment would possibly be?
Oh man. Okay, you know what? In terms of topic, Kalam, we don't want to give away our aces now, Kalam. We don't want to give away our aces. You can see the brothers are on it now. But it's going to be a continuation of, potentially what happened afterwards, etc. And, what was actual, what actually happened after the Prophet passed away, etc., etc.
So are we confirming there's going to be a part 3 next week?
It's all down to public demand. I want to see those views. I want to see those likes. If the video gets liked, it's all about public demand now, Kalam.
Oh, man. We live, baby. We live. We lit. We lit. Let's get it.
Don't forget to big up Beit al-Ghadir. So,
yeah. Beit al-Ghadir, Kalam, Beit al-Ghadir, all the brothers that's all on here. Our own channel, Beit al-Ghadir, is up and running. Inshallah, we're going to have new, fresh content on that. Inshallah, it will be in, Kalam, can I accept that it will be in the description, a link for it?
Yep. As usual, there definitely will be.
As always, so brothers, it's going to be a new channel. Subscribe to it and watch to it and wait for our new content that's going to come on Beit al-Ghadir, inshallah ta'ala.
All right. Beautiful. Perfect. Family, I'm literally going to be closing down the show right now. Again, just click the link if you would like to join in, and we'll continue this off air. Thank you for my Shia brothers for actually joining us. And
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Take care.
I just want to get a quick chant. Can we leave with a quick chant again? Can we do that?
Always.